Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the City Commission meeting. What is that?
This is the walk-on to announce.
Okay, thank you. Welcome to the City Commission meeting this September 3rd, 2025. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. For those of you who are here for the first time, welcome, and thank you for participating in tonight's meeting. Normally, when we have our meetings, we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence, and then various agenda announcements. So to begin the meeting, I'd like to invite Ishmael Dagler and Carlence Conciel from Riverland Elementary School to please join me over here at the podium. And let's... So put your right hand over your heart. You may begin.
To the Pledge of Allegiance, to the flag of United States of America, one nation, under God.
No. Start again. I pledge allegiance to
the flag of United States of America
and to
the republic of which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Yes, you'll be on YouTube. All right, I have a little gift for you. Thank you so much for doing this with us tonight. Take care. Good luck in school. Here, let's take a pic. Come on. Commissioner Beasley Pittman wants to join us.
Your school is in my district.
Over here, we'll stand and take a picture. Modern family here. Thank you. Okay, great. Now, please join me in sharing this moment of silence. And in doing so, I'd like to also recognize that a gentleman named Art Seitz has passed away. And Art was a very active participant on the beach for many, many years, trying to improve quality of life for those who lived in and around the barrier island, especially trying to enhance bicycle use and bicycle enhancement. So please join me in this moment of silence. Thank you so much. Before we begin, I have a few employee retirement announcements. We do this at the beginning of every meeting for those that have been with our departments for extended periods of time. So tonight there are two people. There's Bridget Patterson, who's customer service supervisor in Department of Sustainable Development, and she has been with us for 29 years. So congratulations, Bridget. And John Marshka, who's a senior electrotechnician in Public Works. He's been with us for 10 and a half years. Thank you so much, John, for being with us and for your work on behalf of the people of Fort Lauderdale. So we have a couple of agenda announcements. PH1, the applicant has requested that there be a deferral to September 16th, 2025, which is our next meeting. And there are two walk-on resolutions. One is a resolution approving an airport infrastructure grant agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration for the design of Runway 27 bypass taxiway and the run-up area relocation project. This is the first walk-on resolution. The second one is walk-on resolution expanding the duties of the appointment of Weiss Sirota regarding traffic control devices. Other than that, there are no other agenda item revisions. So would someone like to move to approve tonight's agenda as amended? And do I hear a motion?
Moved. Second.
This motion seconded. Please call the roll.
Just real quick, I'm going to do a roll call.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Herbst. Commissioner Glassman.
Here.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman. Commissioner Sorensen.
Here.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and the agenda is approved as amended. So tonight, before we begin the
That was the roll call. And now I'm just going to do the vote for the motion.
Okay,
Sorry.
if you insist.
Vice Mayor Herbst? Yes. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman? Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and so the agenda is now approved. So, as I was starting to say, we often begin our meetings before we go into the agenda with presentations. And the purpose of presentations are to recognize individual events or organizations that are of noteworthy event in this particular month. So tonight, I would like to invite Commissioner Sorensen, who's going to present a proclamation regarding Hunger Action Month. And I'd like to invite Allison Vall, who is the Assistant Vice President of Philanthropy. Is Allison here? Allison is not here. Well, our commissioner is still going to present the proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, and this is on behalf of myself and Commissioner Beasley Pittman in recognition of Hunger Action Month. Whereas in 1981, Feeding South Florida, which is a fantastic part of our community court program on Wednesdays, where we help those who are in need find the services and support they need, and Feeding South Florida is a wonderful part of that. So Feeding South Florida has been an unwavering force in the battle against hunger in Fort Lauderdale, whereas the city of Fort Lauderdale stands resolute in its commitment to raising awareness about the pervasive issue of hunger and providing vital resources to support the well-being of our community. Whereas more than 1 million individuals in South Florida, including 500,000 children and seniors, depend on the food and groceries provided each year by Feeding South Florida and its partners. And whereas Feeding South Florida, a proud member of the Feeding America and Feeding Florida networks, demonstrates exceptional stewardship by reinvesting 98% of donations into the community. And whereas Feeding South Florida's vast network of community partners is committed to ending hunger, and during Hunger Action Month, the city of Fort Lauderdale encourages all to strengthen these bonds, amplify our collective impact, and ensure that no one in our community faces food insecurity alone. Now, therefore, we as the city commissioners of the city of Fort Lauderdale hereby proclaim September 2025 as Hunger Action Month. Signed, your mayor, Dean J. Trentalis. Thank you. And Mayor, I'm going to give this to Chris Cooper to bring to Feeding South Florida.
Okay, excellent. Thank you
right.
so much, Chris.
Thank you.
It's now my privilege to be able to make the next presentation. This is regarding a proclamation recognizing National Preparedness Month in the city of Fort Lauderdale. And in doing so, I'd like to invite the city's emergency management team, which includes the following people. Please join me at the podium. Jermaine Frazier, Deputy Fire Chief, Captain Avery Figueres, Lieutenant Jason Marcus, Battalion Chief Daniel Oatmeyer, and Captain Shane Simcox. Please join me at the podium. Thank you. Thank you. So, from the Office of the Mayor of the City of Fort Lauderdale, I'm now here to present a proclamation in recognition of National Preparedness Month, and certainly during the hurricane season, this becomes very, very important for all of us to participate and to attend. Whereas the Federal Emergency Management Agency's READY campaign has observed National Preparedness Month since 2004 to encourage Americans to take proactive steps to prepare for emergencies and disasters. The 2025 theme is Preparedness Starts at Home, highlights the importance of returning to the essentials of preparedness, including knowing your risks, creating a family emergency plan, and building an emergency supply kit, getting involved in community readiness. Emergencies and disasters, whether caused by hurricanes, flooding, fire, or other hazards, can occur without warning. But simple actions taken in advance to help minimize injury, reduce damage, and speed recovery for families and neighborhoods. The City of Fort Lauderdale's Domestic Preparedness and Emergency Management Bureau is charged with ensuring that our government, neighbors, institutions, and businesses are ready to respond and recover from emergencies and hazardous situations. The city's Emergency Operations Center serves as a central command for coordination during emergencies, operating at 3 activation levels to provide clear direction, effective planning, and collaborative decision-making across city departments and partner agencies. The National Preparedness Month provides an opportunity to recognize the vital role of the city's emergency management team, whose expertise, dedication, and leadership safeguard Fort Lauderdale, while also encouraging neighbors to take an active role in their preparedness. Now, therefore, we, as the City Commissioners of the City of Fort Lauderdale, do hereby proclaim this month, September 2025, as National Preparedness Month, and on this 3rd day of September 2025, signed by myself, Mayor Dean Trantalis. Thank you all for the all great work you all do here in our city. Congratulations. Thank you. We'd like to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank everyone here with the city for entrusting us with the important initiative of keeping the city safeguarded and prepared. We take that very seriously, and we got a great team here, and we look forward to continuing on some of the efforts that our emergency manager, Chief Frazier, has put forward for us. Thank you.
Make sure you get them all in. Okay, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Next time. Next time. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to leave this with you. Yes, sir. Thank you. They are rough and ready. Thank you so much for being there for all of us here in our city. And if April of 2023 provides any lessons, yes, you can never predict the next storm and the next emergency. So now we move into our agenda. The agenda begins with what are called consent agenda items. The consent agenda is intended to allow the commission to vote on all the items at once, unless a commissioner decides to pull one, and we discuss it and vote on it separately. If that item that you're here to speak about tonight is not pulled, I will invite you to come speak on that agenda item before we vote on it. So there are a couple of people who signed up to speak on the consent items, but they're just for questions only. Let me just verify that. Yeah. Okay. Vice Mayor, do you have any consent agenda items that you would like to pull? No. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
CR6.
CR6?
6.
Commissioner Glassman?
None.
Commissioner Sorensen?
None.
Okay. And all the other consent agenda requests to speak are just for questions only. So, all right. So, except for CR6, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Herbst? Yes. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and those items are now approved. If you're here on those items, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, or you may also enjoy the rest of your evening. CR6, Commissioner Beasley Pittman.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Mayor. I asked for CR6 to be pulled. I wanted to have a discussion regarding the memorandum of understanding that's posted. I had some concerns when I was reading it. I'm hoping for some clarification. I'm understanding that currently we do have a posting for jobs for 3 positions, and with this particular item that we're looking at right now, the closing date for the positions are actually September 4th, and this memorandum that we are reviewing tonight will have an effect on those particular applicants who are applying for the jobs. So I see that Chief and our Deputy Director are standing by, so I do have a couple questions if we can just ask them to come forward.
Sure. You want to come to the podium? Thank you.
Kristen Milligan, Deputy Human Resources Director for the City of Fort Lauderdale.
Thank you, Kristen. When I was reading this, where I was a little cloudy about how this will work, my concern is those individuals who have gone through the process, they applied for this position, and at the posting there was qualifications that were outlined. Yes, and reading the memorandum, it appears to change that opportunity to also allow additional individuals to apply that may not have the qualifications today. And if you could elaborate on that for us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Right. So currently the positions closed. We are currently interviewing or testing for battalion chief, lieutenant, and driver engineer. They're set to close tomorrow. As the CBA currently reads, you have to have all of the qualifications at the time of posting to be able to test. That includes years of service, in addition to certifications, education, and things like that. What we are seeking to do is to extend the deadline to obtain those qualifications to December 10th while still allowing them to test. The reason for this is twofold. We have several people who graduate in the fall, so they may not have the required degree at the time that the position closes, and this would allow them to test, and so long as they obtain the degree by the 10th, they would then be able to be on the eligibility list. If they do not obtain that degree, they would not be on the eligibility list, but they would be able to test, and that becomes important later. Additionally, we have several people who are 1 month short of the experience requirement. So by extending it to December 10th, it allows them to test, and they will then have met that years of service requirement to become effective on the eligibility list January 1st. So it gives us a few more people that are potentially eligible for promotion. But in addition to that, for the temporary upgrade change we're looking to make, it would allow anyone who has completed the test to be eligible for upgrade in cases in which that's needed. We have absences, we need to upgrade people to lieutenant, things like that. They don't necessarily have to be on the eligibility list, they just have to have tested. And so that would allow us to potentially reduce our overtime liability as well.
Okay. And that upgrade would be temporary, just to clarify?
Yes, temporary upgrade.
Okay. That was a red flag. I did see temporary, so that explains that. Also, my question is, as a possibility, because what I'm uncomfortable with, you've had people who've gone through the process, and they were under the impression that this is what we're doing, and now the window has been opened to invite others in. That makes the pool bigger, that may now change their opportunity that were in line to do or receive that promotion. Now, I'm wondering if it's any potential opportunity that those who are already on that list, that closing, and then that there's a window for those new individuals under this memorandum, that we go through with those that are there now, open a window from September 4th to whatever date to include testing, and we get everybody, but not eliminating or canceling out what was already prepared for months.
Sure. So a couple items there. One is we did include in the posting that there was the potential for this MOU to make everyone aware that this could be something that would be approved. We are required to post for 45 to 90 days, depending on if there's been any change in reference material and things like that for testing. So, and currently the way the CBA reads is you have to have all of these qualifications by the time that the closing or the posting closes. So if we don't pass the MOU, there would not be enough time to reopen a posting, administer a test, allow for an appeal period, and get on the eligibility list for January 1st. So that is why we're trying, this is, for lack of a better term, sort of a now or never. If we don't pass the MOU now, we wouldn't have an opportunity for this round to enact this change, which includes the temporary upgrade change.
I see your wheels spinning.
So good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commission, your Fire Chief, Stephen Golan. So we've experienced a time of growth within our agency. If we look back years ago that we hired a large group of 60, and we're getting to a point of retirement with those individuals. What we've seen here recently is where we've been exhausting the promotional list and completely going through it. And there's a cost associated with running those tests off cycle. We've run into that a couple of different times, as well as we've also ran out of eligible candidates to upgrade. So what transpires there is when we don't have enough candidates on a shift that are eligible to upgrade, we have to hire overtime even though we're over our staffing numbers. So this incurs an additional cost as well. What is being brought forth to you today has been negotiated, and the union took it to the body and voted on it, and a majority of the firefighters were in favor of proceeding this way. There's no individual that will be promoted that does not have the qualifications to be in the position. We understand the importance of having people that have those requirements met in order to be in leadership roles within the organization, and at no time would we ever vary from there. What we're trying to do at this point is when you have an individual that is right there on the cusp, like literally their graduation date may be a month or 2 months out, and they've worked for the last 4 years to get that bachelor's degree, but this testing will not be offered for another 2 years. So that 2-month difference on when their hire date was or when the opportunity of that test is being given could potentially keep them from 2 years. In the normal situation of the fire department, that would have been completely fine. However, with the retirements that are taking place, and in 2027, we're looking at over 20, I think we're at 26 individuals retiring in ranked positions that year. We're at an unprecedented time where we need people to step up and become leaders within the organization. By them being on that list, we're then able to upgrade them. And what that means is that they're now shadowing other individuals, and they're gaining that real-time experience under the supervision of others that are already promoted into those positions, which then gives us a bigger pool when the time comes to promote them.
Okay. So understanding that those individuals with the opening or expanding of that timeline, those individuals by, I think I read December 10th, is that the date?
That's correct.
I'm sorry, December 10th, right?
Yes.
They would have to have met those qualifications. So between September 4th and December 10th, anyone who has applied or is applying must have met those qualification years, time, certifications, all of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's really a streamlined city manager. I'm trying to make sure there's no loopholes in there, that we're covering everything, because I really have a space in my mind about where there's any opportunity for someone to leap ahead of someone else. And I want to make sure we're not creating a hidden space that we're missing.
Of course. Okay. And as do, we value the experience level that individuals have within the organization. I think that's very, very important as they're making the steps through the organization, to have that experience, to know the city inside and out, and be promoting the right person for the position. There also are other things in the collective bargaining agreement that allow us to hold that integrity all the way through the process.
And how many more candidates will be qualified from extension of this date?
So this would make eligible for 7 additional candidates.
7 additional.
But they would still have to have all of their things done by December 10th. So obviously, if they don't reach those numbers, that number could diminish. And
how many people are right now? That's September 4th. They're ready to go. How many people?
Explanation. I find it very plausible, and I find the flexibility important here to allow the opportunity to go forward. But being that our backup talks, mostly exclusively that this is recommended between the city and the union, I would like to see if Keith Costa has anything to say from the union side, because this is something to deal with both the city and the actual International Association of Firefighters, Local 765. So I'd like to hear his perspective as well. Thank you.
Keith Casa, President, Fort Lauderdale Firefighters. Commissioner Beasley Pittman, to your point, our body voted on this. They accepted these changes. They welcome the expanded pool of candidates, and I think that it bodes well for our membership and the city.
If I might, was this vote a big vote? It wasn't close, or was it close, or was it pretty well accepted?
Yeah, it was widely accepted.
Widely accepted. Okay, thank you. I appreciate your time on this.
Thank you very much.
I'm supportive of this. Thank you.
Would someone like to introduce the item?
Introduced.
This is CR6, a resolution. It's been introduced. Please call the roll. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ma'am.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, approving and ratifying a memorandum of understanding between the City of Fort Lauderdale and Fort Lauderdale Professional Firefighters, Inc., IAFF Local 765, rank and file, and authorizing the city manager to execute the memorandum of understanding. Vice Mayor Herbst? Yes. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman? Yes. Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and that item is now approved. Moving on to neighbor presentations. We start out with Gary Oliver. Gary, are you here? Mr. Oliver, how are you?
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Trentalis and City Commissioners. I'm here. It started in May. The reason I'm here, when my neighborhood was alerted that there was going to be smoke testing for leaks in sanitary lines to help solve the overburdening of the water treatment plants when inflow and infiltration problems occur. So, wanted to know what was going to happen. Well, time has elapsed since May. Testing has occurred. Before I move on, I grew up in the Sunset neighborhood. 56, we moved down. I went to Stranahan, so I've been around. I've worked here for a while, and I'm back now, retired, and back in the same house. So there's some improvements. So I'm here to talk about that. The inflow is from rain. Infiltration would be from irrigation systems and all. And are there leaks? There are 527 homes in the Sunset neighborhood. The results are that there were 37 homes with some leaks, and that's private ownership, and on city ownership of the lines, 21. I've been in talk back and forth with the manager of Public Works, Brad Kane, and I could say that he and his staff, and also with Odura, the company that was responsible for testing, have been very transparent. So I've got a lot of information. I feel comfortable about that. I realize there's an unfunded plan to rehabilitate the leaks. How that's going to be done and when that's going to happen, it's down the road. It seems like it's going to be Basin C1, Sunset, and CY29. All right, and the plan is not to burden the homeowners for this project, but only treat the few leaks identified. My concern now rests with future infrastructure of sewer lines, and we heard today about the storm sewage and the cost of storm sewage and the funding for storm sewage drainage, that is. Well, the neighborhood, they must have had good engineers. We have Orangeburg pipes. Orangeburg pipes consist of very tight paper, taut paper, right? The life of them, 50 to 60 years. We're now into 70 years. So things are going to start happening. I don't know, other parts of the city also may have Orangeburg pipes to be contending with. So Sunset is a working class neighborhood. It's a low income neighborhood. And I asked the city to go easy in terms of how to figure this out. That's okay. Leave it there, please. How to figure this out in terms of funding. Because if you have 527 homes with pipes, how do you do it? Time is up.
Time is up. So this is my recommendation, and I think your concern is shared by a lot of neighbors throughout the city. Work with your district commissioner. I think it's you the district commissioner,
yes.
And see how we can try to include Sunset neighborhood in our further projects. You saw how many projects we had. We had a lot of work ahead of us.
We do.
You should have said something 56 years ago when you were first here.
Well, they did a good job, right?
Or was it 1956?
1956, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate it, and just continue to communicate with Pamela Beasley Pittman.
Right.
So hopefully we can include Sunset.
Yes, that's another thing to add to your list. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver.
Thank you. Tamara Heil? Not here? Oh, she is here. Okay. Wants to speak about the separation of the water meters and trash.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Who is Tamara? Okay. You're going to be speaking? Okay.
Yes, I
Or is this a chorus? Are you going to?
I have my
You look like
backup.
you all have great voices. Come on. Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, board members.
Step up to
forward
the
to the
microphone.
mic.
Yeah,
I'm
very
sorry.
good. Very good.
Okay. Good
Evening.
evening, board members. My name is Tamara Heil. I'm the HOA president, which was supposed to be in affordable homes and for home ownership. However, we're facing a burden of being forced out of our homes due to the water situation if it's not resolved. I'm here on tonight respectfully requesting that our community be removed from shared water meters and trash billing system, an agreement that was made between Habitat for Humanity and the city of Fort Lauderdale. This agreement has created a substantial burden on the homeowners.
Explain to me, what is it that you're looking to not be billed for water and trash?
No, we are okay with being billed for water and trash.
Right.
But the way that our community has been built, it's built off of one tank. We have one tank, and the water is dispersed between all 30 homes.
Okay.
So now, with that happening, then if someone has a leak and they don't address the leak, it comes down onto the other homeowners. And what has happened is that our water bill has risen so high that we, as a community, and the ones that are paying, aren't able to maintain it.
So you're saying that, by the way, I stopped at the clock so I can understand. So you're saying that there are about 30 homes that draw water from a single source, and that if one person has a leak, is not addressing it, the burden is spread on all the other utility users.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, please proceed.
Yes. So not only if one homeowner is not, if it's about 4 or 5 or even 10 homeowners are not addressing the water issue, then it falls on the people who are paying. So now what happens is our water bill has risen so high, it's about $40,000, and we're facing a financial problem because if they shut off our water, that means the whole community's water is shut off and we have to move out of our homes. So we're asking.
So, Chris, did you want to, this is Chris Cooper, our Assistant City Manager. Do you want to comment on this? Do you know anything about this? Okay.
Yes, Mayor, they have been in contact with my office as well. They've been with Chris Cooper and City Manager as well. So we've been discussing this matter.
Okay.
Yep. So Mayor Chris Cooper, Assistant City Manager. So Rock Island Oaks, as was stated, was developed by Habitat for Humanity many years ago. It's an older development that Habitat had built and has since been removed from. Everybody has their own mortgage, so it's been developed and lived in. The development, when it was initially built, was built in a way where rights of way didn't meet standards to have city provided utilities. So they were very narrow in terms of what we would expect for our rights of way to have easements and whatnot for city run utilities. So those utilities were private. So the setup in Rock Island Oaks is that the individual homeowners are on sub meters that are billed through a master meter that is billed from the city. But those sub meters are billed from and excuse me if I get this wrong, you can correct me, but I believe it's billed through a billing service that the homeowners association contracts with. Yeah. So right now, each homeowner is responsible for their bill to that billing service, but from the city's perspective, the amount that we're looking at is the amount that's due through that master meter. So we're not billing those folks individually.
I get that. So how do we correct that?
Can we move to individual billing?
So the only way that we could move to individual billing is if the utilities were made part of the city's maintained infrastructure. Mm-hmm. We can talk to utilities and public works. We've been having those conversations. There would need to be certain things that would need to be met in terms of the certification of the system to make sure it's something that is acceptable to the city. Right. There's some risk and liability to that because we didn't install and build that infrastructure. So there is some risk to the city for assuming that responsibility. There still is the issue with the rights of way and the easements to where we need certain amount of easements to do maintenance and things like that. So it's not as easy as just saying the city will assume responsibility for those installed meters that are billed to the individual homeowners and then, address each homeowner by each homeowner. Now, the association can, through that service, deal with those individual folks that do not pay their bills, and I don't know if they've done that or chosen not to, but there's some things they could do through the association to help with the issue as well. But they do have a very large past due amount that is due to the city through the master meter.
Yeah. So, Commissioner, obviously I'd defer to you on this, but I think it could be a helpful conversation to just think long term and how to make this transition. Ultimately, I know it's not going to be easy, but I don't know. That's just cheap. Or cheap, but
right.
I think
are
the city.
Conversations that we've had. Linda, she's been in the conversation for us. If you would come forward, Linda, and share. But we need to see how we can rectify this. We got to come to some type of a resolution because this is, as we know, if there's no water, what's next? Homes are what? Condemned. You cannot live in your home if you do not have running water.
And
so,
yeah.
So just adding to the conversation, what we've already been talking about.
Sure. Linda Short, Director of Finance. So I've been meeting with this homeowners association now about 18 months. We've had conversations going. We have not shut off the water, even though it's seriously delinquent, and we have a state order not to shut it off until we resolve what's going on with the neighborhood. But, ultimately at the end of the day, the question is whether or not there's enough right-of-way. And, as Assistant City Manager Cooper said, there's some infrastructure things that you have to worry about. I know that another neighborhood is being built or just got built from Habitat Humanity in a similar type fashion, but it just doesn't have enough space for us to access the meters or do the public utility. That's what I know of it from this point in time. But they are making payments when they can. It's just not enough to cover the bills, and the balance continues to grow.
And just to add some detail, the balance is over $36,000 at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Raquel, question, just going forward in partnership with Habitat, who I love and support Habitat for Humanity all day long, can we not have a similar setup going forward from a utilities perspective? This is not I think, a good scenario.
And this is from, 20 years ago? This is not a recent... 15.
Yeah. So it sounds like maybe there's a more recent one that's
similar. With the more recent development, we did have this conversation with Habitat because they were aware of what happened in Rock Island Oaks when they proposed a new development. The issue is there's decisions to be made from the developer's perspective of do they want to have a certain number of units in a configuration on a somewhat constrained site. I think Rock Island Oaks, probably when it was developed, was constrained for the number of units they were trying to put there. The one that was recently approved in the last year, similarly, it was a constrained and somewhat awkwardly shaped lot. So the decision was made in order to have the units they wanted in terms of the number of units that they would go with the smaller roads and rights of ways that didn't allow the utility service. So a lot of it is what the developer, be it Habitat or anybody else, is interested in doing and what they're looking to have on that site versus what is feasible when it comes to public utilities and public rights of way. So we did have those conversations with Habitat. It was part of the development process. So they made the decision to do more units and not have the city infrastructure.
Chris, have we verified that this is due to a leak?
I have no idea if it's due to a leak. I don't have that answer.
Does it matter?
Does it matter? I mean, I asked Linda from finance to talk about the process. I know what that looks like from a public utility standpoint when there's a leak, but I'm not sure what it looks like from this perspective.
Can't prove this from a leak, but if they have information that there's a leak, there's an ability to get a leak credit if we know when the leak started, when it was fixed. There's a process that they can go through if they can provide that evidence to us. But I know that from what I understand, I guess their third party that's billing them, if they can provide us some information, maybe we can consider it. But at this point in time, we don't have any information on that at all.
So do we ever explore that in terms of, is this a leak? Is it not a leak? Is it something else that's causing this? Or
I just know that for the past 18 months, finance has been working with them on a solution. And the bill is about, I think, $8,000 a month or $7,000, $8,000. Right.
3 to 8. We couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
When it started out as $3,000, then it went up to $4,000, then it went up to $8,000. Now it's like $10,000 a month. We cannot afford that. Also, I know they just spoke about the infrastructure. We have garbage trucks that comes through our community, fire trucks that come through our community, postal carriers that come through our community, school buses come through our community, landscaping, tow trucks, flatbeds, furniture trucks, Amazon deliveries, UPS, FedEx trucks, and other delivery vans that come through our community. So when they say that our roads are not wide enough, they are wide enough.
So, Linda, do we know, and again, I'm just trying to figure out what can happen here, what we can do, but do we know, obviously I know that I just heard that the water bill started around 3, but we know that everyone has seen increases. So I'm trying to figure out how much of that increase is actually due to the new rates and all of the work that we've been doing in the city versus how much of it is a little questionable. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get the delta here of what normally, if there was not a leak or it was just the rates that have gone up in the city, what would that bill look like? Do we know that number?
I don't have that information in front of me, but I can provide it to you.
Yeah, I think we need to just gather as much information as possible. And then, because, folks, this is,
yeah,
there have been increases.
Yeah, there was a 33% increase between water and sewer in the last fiscal year.
Yeah, but not
October.
300%.
No,
Right.
I got it. But the 3,000 I think was earlier. What I'm remembering is the bill has been averaging between $7,000 and $8,000 is what I'm remembering.
Which is a lot. Well, the point is, though, that, the thing is, developers try to maximize the space in order to maximize profit, and it's all done, which in the end we end up with problems like this, right? So we as a city have to be more careful about that in permitting projects that don't take into consideration. Yeah, okay, I'm not looking. That take into consideration these necessities, because why should I be penalized because my neighbor doesn't want to fix their pipes, right? So, And so going forward, this is going backwards because we've got to fix a problem that's already exists. But going forward, let's be smart about this. Let's make sure that this doesn't happen again. I'm sure at the time it made sense because they were trying to, cut down the costs, and even though it's a habitat community, it shouldn't be any less quality than everyone else. So the point is that going forward, I would ask the development, our building department, to be a little bit more circumspect in how they approve projects like this, because this is what results. So, all right, but the commissioner is obviously on top of this, and thank you for bringing it to our attention. And whatever the commissioner and our staff are able to agree with, I'm sure the commission will be supportive of that. All right,
Mayor, can I just say a couple other things?
Go right ahead.
Just about
Go right
this?
ahead, Ben.
So one, Tamara, thank you. So when they're talking about infrastructure, I think what they're talking about, and Brad can please correct me if I'm wrong, but Tamara, what they're talking about is if we transitioned you to city utilities, pipes and so forth, it would probably require some degree of easements, meaning some of the property, possibly private property or property of Habitat, to be used for an easement for access for pipes and so forth. So I think that, Brad, am I heading in the right direction on that? Right. So that's kind of that discussion. So that would be a big investment. It would also possibly impact yards or so forth. So anyway, okay. And look, I think that's the right way to go.
Yes.
Now, the next question is going to be how much would that cost, just as for you and the commissioner to think about these things. Brad, any sense of what that investment would cost the city to move to city water?
I'm not sure. I can tell you, I think early on in this process, when city staff was involved, Public Works Utilities did conduct a site visit, and they were able to confirm there was a lack of right-of-way easements, which prevents, putting individual meter installations in there. Right. So, I mean, that's one concern. Obviously, one of the other issues was, they talked about the sanitation bill, and because, they're not billed by the city, therefore that additional service couldn't be provided. Now, I'm not to say going forward that you couldn't look at that, because there's 30 individual smart homes in there. But I think we would have to really take a deep dive, make a full analysis of in there and what the cost would be, to get it to where it could be served by the city and be on our utility bill and all that. We would have to do that and probably bring something back to the commission to let you know what the cost would be.
That is something we definitely, Mayor, we should move on. At least we have a blueprint as to what the financial impact is for city, the community, whatever it may be. In that way, we would know the dollar amount that we're looking at. But at this point, speaking to this community on multiple occasions with my staff, with staff from the city, I can say nothing other than mind-blowing. I never heard of such a situation. And when I first heard it, I was like, that doesn't make sense. But when you see the documentation, this is what they're living. And, we as a city, what can we do? Whatever it is, we need to be on board 100% to help them get to a resolve. And it may not necessarily be the picture community that you may envision, but whatever we can do, I'm speaking, and I'm hoping I'm not considered being speaking out of turn, but I think as a city we will line up to do what we can do to make this a resolved situation.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman,
Yes.
if I may add, just for the Commission's awareness, Habitat for Humanity did mention that they would contribute toward capital costs. We did not identify a dollar figure because we don't really have an estimate at this time, but they did proffer to participate in the resolution of this matter in a capital contribution.
Chris, I might be missing something, but I don't think this is a good system to allow in the city of Fort Lauderdale going forward. I think new construction should be on city water. Give me your feedback on that.
Right. So, it is on city water, albeit through a master meter, through sub-meter. So the water they're getting is provided by the city. It's really similar, and I don't disagree with you that this situation isn't ideal, to say the very least. the system and the way it's set up is similar to a condo development and some of our other townhome developments in Fort Lauderdale, where typically a homeowners association manages that billing contract. The homeowners association has the ability to deal with those individual homeowners for lack of payment. You know, there are abilities to turn off those individual meters and things like that. So it's not an uncommon practice. It's not an uncommon development method here in Fort Lauderdale. So I think to say, you know, we should never do it. There are situations where, you know, it does make sense, but you know,
but these are single-family homes, right?
Well,
these are single-family homes.
Why can't the board of directors of your homeowners association go fix the pipes and assess the particular home that whose pipe has been defective? I mean, is it a closed community? I mean, is it a mandatory homeowners association? It is a mandatory homeowners association.
So, right? Yes, it will be me. So you're.
I can't hear you.
So when you say, could the board go in and do that?
Right.
That would be me.
Okay, so to the analogy is that it's the same as a condominium association, which in a condominium association they go in and they make the repair and then they assess.
We don't have the funds. We have no funds.
Okay. So you can borrow the money as a homeowners association, and you can then levy the cost against the particular homeowner.
We
do you have a monthly dues?
We have a monthly dues.
How much is your monthly dues?
I think it's $221.
$221?
$231. I'm sorry.
Right, $231.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And what does that go towards? Do you have security? What does it go?
That goes to the water because now it's high.
Right.
And it goes to the trash at this time because the trash also went from 3,000. Well, it went from 1,800 last year to in 2 months it went to 3,000, and in 2 more months it went to 6,000, and then it went to 9,000.
For trash or for sewer?
No. This is trash. Public service. Yes. We looked in our account and everything was being wiped out.
Okay.
And now we're only down to 1 day a week.
All right. So going forward, I think that you need to have someone come and reevaluate your balance sheet as an association and see what is a proper amount that you should be collecting every month from each homeowner. And like I said, as an association, you can go in there even before you make the repair. You can assess the homeowner and ask them to pay for the repair before the repair is done. As long as you have an estimate, you can assess the individual homeowner for the repair that has to be done. You as a board, from my understanding, from what you're telling me, would have that authority to do so.
So you're saying to go into, say, for instance, one of the homeowners' home.
Homeowner A, okay?
Okay, homeowner A's home, and
you determine that there's a leak in their system and that you give them notice that they have to fix it. If they don't do it within a certain number of days, you have the right to assess them, to get it paid for, and to have the repair done.
And that's through my attorney, correct?
Yes.
So the attorney charges us, and we don't have that for the attorney.
You don't have an attorney.
We have an attorney. We have Becker and Polyakov.
Polyakov,
yes.
And they should have advised you exactly what I'm telling you. And I'm sure if you come to them with that.
We have.
And they have said what? No, I don't know if you maybe you didn't know the question to ask, and I'm not saying anything about your conversation, but Becker Polyakov has been around for a long time.
I know.
Okay, and they kind of know the business, so perhaps after tonight's discussion, you might go to them and say, look, can we assess an individual homeowner? Do our rules and regulations provide for it? And they'll work with you to amend your bylaws. You need to be able to have some teeth behind your need, and this is killing you all. This is draining all your families, right?
Yeah.
So I totally understand it. But I have a little familiarity with condominium law, okay?
Yeah.
And just to let you know that there are ways to get this done.
We've tried a little bit of everything, and what you're saying, we've tried that as well. I've sent many emails to them in order and letting them know exactly what we're going through, and they, of course, know about it, and then they'll send me a fee for talking to them about it. Yes. Yeah.
Those damn lawyers, I say.
Yeah. We just want to be separated.
The water and trash. That's all.
Okay. Well, I think. Look, thank you for being here. I think we got a good plan. So your commissioner is going to be leading the way, but we got Public Works working on it. Help get an evaluation what this would look like.
Thank you.
So I think we're heading in a good direction, and I will happily support your direction, Commissioner.
And thank you all for coming to stake your case. Continue, and as we said before, we will do all we can from this position to get a result.
And Mr. Spence, maybe you might work with someone in your office, might give Becker Polyakov a call and say, how can we help this association get to the point where they have the right and the ability to assess against an individual homeowner for their delinquency?
They would be charging them for that call as well.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, I can't help you. Sorry. All right, thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
I don't know why trash would go up that much. That doesn't make any sense. All right, M1, motion approving agreements for invitation to bid regarding the purchase of demolition services. Someone like to move the item?
Moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions? No one signed up to speak. Any questions? There being none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Herbst? Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and M1 is now approved.
Mayor, could I, a question, if you don't mind?
Yes.
Sorry. We have some parents of young children that are here for OFR 1. And I was wondering if there's any way we could just move that up, Mayor, to be able to hear them and get them out of here for their kids.
Well, if we stop talking so much.
I know. I'll stop asking questions. Sorry.
All right, we can move on to OFR 1.
It's all right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure. OFR 1 is the first reading of an ordinance creating Section 19-8 entitled Exclusive Children Play Area to establish regulations designating exclusive children play areas within city parks. A number of people have signed up to speak. Who from city staff is here to tell us what this is about?
We have Carl Williams, Parks and Recreation Director.
Hello, Carl. You want to give us just a quick synopsis of what this is intending to accomplish?
Yes, sir. Good evening. Carl Williams, Parks and Recreation Director. This particular item is referencing designated children's play area, specifically pertaining to playgrounds in our city, and to establish an enforcement for non-adults not accompanied by an adult or a parent to be essentially hanging out in the playground.
Okay, so anyone over the age of 18 can't enter the children's play area unless accompanied by a child?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Can I ask Carl a question?
Go right ahead.
So, Carl, help me understand here, because in reading the backup, I know that to put the signs up, it's $20,000, and then if we decide to do some sort of fencing area, that's another $540,000. How do we enforce something like this? I mean, let me just ask you a question. Let's say we establish a child safety area, and I can't think of anything more important than the safety of our children. But I'm having a question in my mind about this enforcement. So if an adult is sitting in this, whatever this area is, how do they prove that the child belongs to them? Or do we have our police and park rangers asking every adult in this area, who's your child? Or do you have a child here? Or help me just understand that process of enforcement.
So That is a very good question, and it will be challenging. I don't want to speak for police, but I see our esteemed Chief Schultz coming up here, so
I
I
don't
will.
think that would be challenging. They would just say, parent, get with your child. Who's not with a child? Would it be identified?
Well, no,
If you're at a
that's-
park, right, and
yeah.
everybody's there with their child, and if someone's there without a child, that indicates that that person is not with a child.
Okay, but who's doing the enforcement?
Well, it
That would be
park rangers or police.
We have the staffing for that in how many parks?
We've got roughly 49 playgrounds and 115 parks.
And we have staff that could enforce this.
We don't have children play areas in all of them either.
Well, no, but okay, so how does that work? Like, do we only have certain children play areas in certain parks?
So this particular ordinance is only speaking to the designated children's play area as it pertains to the playground. And so of the 115 plus parks that we have, there's 49 playgrounds associated within that.
49 playgrounds.
Yes, sir.
But we have staff to enforce in the 49 playgrounds.
We do not. We've got limited resources from park rangers and police. However, I think that it would be a challenge because they're spread out all over the city, and it does become a bit of a challenge to try to enforce that.
So I also like to always have solutions for problems. So let me ask you this question. Is this a problem now in our parks? Because I'm not aware and I need to be educated. Is this a problem, or are we just coming up with a solution in search of a problem?
So the best way I can answer that is it's not a problem that's been brought to my attention. But again, I really don't want to speak for what police may or may not be receiving or not.
Let me jump in here if I could, Carl. So, yes, it's been a problem, and Commissioner, you'll hear some of the problems that the parents have had with this. Here's how I view it: it's similar to some of our other ordinances where we don't have the enforcement mechanism to enforce in its totality all the time. Like, it's an extreme example, but straws, like banning plastic straws, right? We don't have the enforcement mechanism to have someone in every restaurant, but it's meant to encourage the right behavior. Furthermore, with this, how I see it is, it's a tool that, should there be really unhealthy, unhelpful behavior by an adult, the police then have a mechanism to, if it's not illegal behavior up and prior to this ordinance being passed, the police will now have a way to get someone out of a child's play area who might not be doing appropriate, healthy things that are still, in other contexts, legal in many ways. So it gives them a tool. I do not see, and Chief Schultz, I defer to you, but I don't see any proactive enforcement of this in terms of like police going to parks to see, is there an adult without a child? I see it as, if they get concern or complaint from someone in a park, then they can kind of go in and do something about it. That's kind of how I see it.
So if there was a complaint about someone in a park, wouldn't we investigate anyway? I mean, to see if there's illegal behavior, or wouldn't we do that?
You would call like the non-emergency number.
Yeah,
Or if it's really extreme, you'd call 911, and at least the officer or ranger would have the authority to say, hey, you're violating this rule, because right now we don't have the rule.
Right.
So they at least have that rule to be able to enforce.
Exactly.
So, yes, I mean, the point is, we don't have, 4 park rangers or police officers that are going to be assigned and stand sentinel at the corner of each playground. But the idea is to have the enforcement mechanism in place in case it becomes a necessity.
And again, it's to allow, how I see it, Commissioner, is to allow a engagement from a safety standpoint if there isn't illegal activity, but still inappropriate activity, if that makes sense.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to the city attorney, and this does pass constitutional muster, it's all okay?
What I can say is that there are 2 other jurisdictions that have adopted this ordinance. It was brought to our department by our prior city attorney. We have concerns with regards to the enforcement of the ordinance itself. some of which you've kind of already discussed. I understand the intent behind it, but in terms of defining the area with placing signage, it would be difficult for us to prosecute anyone under this ordinance, and it would be hard for us to direct police in terms of how to engage individuals. So as Commissioner Sorensen has mentioned, the individual would have to be within the boundaries of an area that is pretty much undefined to be within what is defined as the exclusive play area in order for them to engage. So you have a question of if an individual is just standing outside of the sign doing the same unhealthy activities that you're talking about, there is no recourse for PD to address that issue. And in terms of the unaccompanied adult, the adult can point to any child within the playground and say, that's the child I'm with. There is nothing that requires any relation or relationship with the child. It just has to declare that they are accompanied by a child. So there are a number of issues associated with it, but in terms of the constitutionality, I can only say that I know of 2 jurisdictions that have it on the books and they have not been challenged.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, there being none, hold on a second. Let's see, this is OFR, first reading. Do we have to close public hearing on this? We don't have to close public hearing. But we have to start public hearing. So let's start with Brittany Ben-Horan, followed by Amanda Chalfant, followed by Eric Javen. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Brittany Ben-Horan. I've been living in Fort Lauderdale for 10 years now. I have 2 children, 10 and 7. The park that's closest to me is Gorbet's. I hear some of the things that are going back and forth about what could be enforced and what could not. I can tell you that over the past 10 years, some things that I've seen, my mother has seen, friends have seen, babysitters, drug paraphernalia in our playgrounds, active sexual activity happening on our playgrounds, meetings that are happening at our playgrounds that aren't making sense to be next to playgrounds, 30 adults, having adult conversation materials, everyone smoking, when there's signs saying that there's no smoking allowed. Most of the behavior that we're seeing is obviously not from people who are with kids, because oftentimes it's a group of people with no kids. I'm not saying that I've never seen parents or caregivers do things that are inappropriate, but these things that are sometimes foul language or stuff like that, these are not the things that we're calling about, that we're asking. When I've made phone calls when there's inappropriate activity, oftentimes it's on the weekend, and the phone number that is posted on the park, it's not a weekend or after hours number. And none of us are calling 911 because there's 30 adults smoking cigarettes at the playground. Obviously, it doesn't look like an emergency. I don't really know that the police are going to take it seriously. We have no one to call, and I have a couple times when I've been at the playground with my kids and other kids, and there are 15 adults having a meeting, smoking cigarettes, just as kindly without being obnoxious. Do you guys mind? There's kids here. One person might say okay and put out the cigarette. 10 more adults come, light up. They're all smoking around, smoking on the swings. So we hope that you'll listen to the other people and help us out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Amanda, followed by Eric, followed by Vanessa Apotheker.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor. My name is Amanda Chalfant, and I'm here tonight to tell you that the City of Fort Lauderdale is not doing enough to protect our youngest citizens. We are being reactive where we could be proactive. We are waiting for something bad to happen to a child before we intervene, and I need your help to fix this. This ordinance is designed to address a weakness in our governing laws. As it stands now, if a concerned parent calls police about a potential threat to children on a children's play structure, there is no law giving police the right to assess and mitigate these threats. Something has to happen to a child first. A crime has to occur first before police can do anything. Currently, everyone has an equal right to hang out on a slide built for a 5-year-old. How do I know this? Because it happened to me. Just like the other mother, when my children were little, we would go to Hardy Park Playground in the morning every week. I began to see a man there every week on the toddler's play equipment exercising. After a couple weeks of this, I approached him and in a friendly, welcoming manner said, "Good morning, it is a hot day. It is impressive you are working out in this heat." Not only did he not respond to me, he looked at me in anger. So I backed off. A couple more weeks went by. Not running laps around the park, not exercising on the adult equipment, not in the shade under the trees, only on the kids' play structures. Odd, right? See something, say something. I did. Eventually, I called the police and reported a suspicious adult hanging out on the kids' playground. I was told that legally, everyone has an equal right to the parks, even the kids' playground, and there was nothing they could do. Call back if something happens. We're not looking to police all the playgrounds. We're looking that if a parent sees something and says something, there's a legal right to deal with it. Commissioners, Mayor, this type of legislation before you today is not new. It has been rolled out successfully and without legal challenge in many other cities, including the nearby city of Hollywood. This ordinance is not designed to restrict our citizens' enjoyment of the parks. This ordinance is designed to give a legal structure to proactively protect children on children's play structures. That's all. Please empower parents to see something, say something, and police to do something. Give kids a safe place to play. Commissioners, Mayor, I beg you to pass this ordinance to be proactive in protecting our children before something happens to a child. Create exclusive children's play areas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Eric, followed by Vanessa. Is Vanessa still here? Oh, there she is, yeah. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Eric Javen, and I'm a man actually here, not just the women.
Men are allowed. We haven't outlawed that yet.
Yes. So I'm here. I have the exact same concerns. I've gone to parks. I've lived in this area for my entire life, and I have seen some questionable activities even from before I ever had a kid. And so I'm here actually in support of this ordinance. And I just don't think that the lack of this ordinance is not so that there is a gatekeeper at every park. It's just so that there's an avenue and a mechanism for enforcement of what we don't want is adults being on playgrounds for no good reason and potentially being able to bother and be a burden to people there. And not have, again, an avenue, because as of right now, there's nothing that can be done, because right now anyone can it's a public park, right? So we just want to have a section, and the ability of not being able to continuously enforce has never been a reason to not pass an ordinance, whether it be a speed limit or drug laws or, I hate to say it, but, homeless encampments in the parks and not being able to urinate and having extra ordinances. We can't always enforce those things, but we pass those laws anyway, whether we should have or not. And so the reality is, I know that was a long time ago, previous, not present company excluded, but the reality is as Amanda had said, this is really just to give an avenue and an ability for people to actually call and for action to be taken. It's not, again, a gatekeeper where someone says, "Hey, I need to see your ID. I need to see your child." So I think it's a common sense, no-brainer. I know there might be a small cost to some signage, but I think it's far outweighed by the safety of our children in our parks.
Okay, great. Thank you. This would also allow us to put signage on the park that states the rule so that people know that they're not allowed to be there without a child. So
Right. I agree, Mayor. Just one other comment on that is I forget, maybe it was Carl who gave the cost of fencing. That could be something to contemplate with this, but it's not required for what we're talking about.
No.
So I just want to make sure that
fencing
that's
was going to do it to be a deterrent. That makes
clear.
no sense.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hey, Vanessa.
Hi, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. So I'm Vanessa Apotheker. I'm the president of Tarpon River Civic Association, District 4 rep for the Council of Fort Lauderdale, also on the Parks and Rec Board. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of myself, and I am sharing this statement on behalf of Jackie Scott, the president of Coley Hammock, Melinda Bowker, president of Downtown Fort Lauderdale Civic Association, Estelle Brennan, Riverside Park, Ted and Sarah, River Oaks, Bill Brown, Michael Albetta, Adina Victor, president of Chula Vista, Mary Peliquin. So a lot of civic, leaders that are in support of the following. We're in favor of the exclusive children play areas within city parks ordinance. As you all know, many other municipalities have similar ordinances, including Miami Beach, Hollywood, Newark, blah, blah. This ordinance will provide authorities to take action on an as-needed basis, which a lot of people have stated. It's not we're policing the gates into the park, like who's your kid. Just if we have an issue with somebody, the authorities have an ability to take action. And on February 26th of 2025, this year, the Parks and Rec Board passed a motion to approve this ordinance 10-0. Everybody at the meeting was in favor of passing this ordinance. In addition to all of the presidents I just mentioned, I have 40 Tarpon River Civic Association residents that have also agreed, which I will not read the names of to save time. However, I will say in my own experience, do I get more?
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I've had several experiences at Hardy Park with uncomfortable situations with adults there, one taking pictures of my kid. I mean, just weird things. Too many things to happen to one person. So I know it's happened to a lot of people. And I just think that this ordinance there's no harm to it. And I don't see any reason why we shouldn't pass it. I'm in favor of it. I hope you guys vote in favor of it as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak at this on this item? There being none, do I hear a motion to close public hearing?
Moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll to close public hearing.
Vice Mayor Herbst? Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and public hearing is now closed on OFR 1. Would someone like to introduce the ordinance on first reading?
Introduced.
The ordinance has been introduced. Please call the roll.
In ordinance of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending Chapter 19 of the Code of Ordinances entitled Parks and Recreation by creating Section 19.8 entitled Exclusive Children Play Area to establish regulations designating exclusive children play areas within city parks, providing for definitions, providing for severability, providing for conflicts and repeal, providing for correction of scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and OFR 1 is now approved on first reading.
Mayor?
Thank you for coming out tonight. Who's talking? Oh, yes, hi.
So we will bring a budget amendment for the signage, and I don't have an estimated schedule for when the signage could be implemented, but we will let you know once we have the signage available after we get the funding necessary.
Great.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you. We might as well do OFR 2 while we're on this section. Ordinance amending section and repealing regarding regulation of vessels anchored in public waterways. We had that discussion this afternoon. let's see. Mark, you signed up to speak. Okay, and Eric, you want to talk on this? Did you sign up for the regulation of vessels?
Yes, I wanted to hear the clarification.
You want to hear the clarification?
Yeah.
Okay. Bob, I guess you have to clarify something. Do you have a specific question? Because we had a long and lengthy conversation about this afternoon. This is just now to create the ordinance. Is there a specific question that you have that you'd like to ask?
Yeah, well, on the last one, you had somebody
There is no presentation. We had like a 45-minute discussion this afternoon. So the commission doesn't need anything more, but if you have a specific question, we'd be happy to entertain it. The purpose of this is to prevent people from docking their boat in waterways where they oftentimes leave their boats unattended, or causing sometimes deterioration of the waterway as a result of that. And now you're only allowed to maintain your boat in a certain area for 30 days within a 6-month period. I'm sorry? There are 3 areas that were identified. You have to come up here if you want to talk.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Bob Dunkel, Assistant City Attorney. This is not restricted to 3 areas. It covers all the waterways in the city of Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, I'm sorry. So do you have any specific question? That's it?
That was one of them. So
Okay.
so you're allowed, you said 30 days in a 6-month span?
Right.
Anywhere within the city limits of waterways.
Correct.
And what happens if you go beyond that?
Under 1-6, I think it's up to $500 or 6 months in jail. Up to.
Okay.
Don't know
$500 or
don't
6
know
months.
how the judge is going to exercise the discretion. on
Okay.
that.
So there is a there's a criminal
Yes, sir.
penalty.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, then then can I speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
You signed up.
So yeah. So I mean, my issue is we are criminalizing an activity that has been basically part of actually the community. Like I said earlier, I was born and raised here, and I understand the apprehensions.
By the way, this is overnight docking,
Yeah,
not
I get it.
daytime, but
I
overnight.
get it. There have been people docking in our waterways for decades and decades.
Right.
It's for as long as I've been alive and a lot longer.
So
clarify one thing?
yeah.
too? It's not docking, it's anchoring away from a dock.
Right.
Yes, there have been people anchoring
Yeah,
longer
so
than.
don't you think it's about time we took some action to stop this practice?
I don't know if criminalizing it is
Well, how
the right
else do you
way.
enforce it?
Um,
Well, we're not criminalizing it. I mean, you're getting a citation.
Okay, I just don't see the waterways the same as, double parking on Second Avenue.
So
or
if
on
a
Second
boat is
Street.
deteriorated, has been neglecting, and
So
oil or
there-
gasoline is dripping in the middle of in the sea,
So
it's
there-
okay?
No, I didn't say that. So
Okay.
you could parcel out, deteriorated boats that are being there are people who actually leave boats, right? And you see them just going into the bushes. I actually do own a boat. I don't anchor. I have a tiny little 17-footer, and it doesn't go very far. But the boating community, as everybody knows, is enormous here. And so I've actually known people who have anchored and who have lived on anchored boats, not necessarily just in Fort Lauderdale, but all over the world. And so you're basically you're penalizing the people who do it okay and do it right just because of people who are doing it wrong. And you're actually criminalizing people who could potentially doing it correctly, and say, okay, you're now basically saying the waterways are not welcome for people to stay overnight.
We're not saying any of that stuff, and don't twist it like that. That's not true at all. In
Okay.
fact, the boating community, including the Marine Advisory Board, has begged us to pass this ordinance because they are making it worse for everybody else who's doing it correctly. And this practice has been going on. I've been on this commission almost 20 years. more than 20 years. And I've seen the practice of how people have been derelict in their responsibility towards others in the waterway. This is why our waterways are so polluted, because people are so disrespectful of waterways. This is one element of that disrespect, and we have to start somewhere to try to clean up the practices of the people that have boats in this community. And we're not trying to tell anybody that we're dissuading people from boating in this community. This community is welcoming everybody in the marine industry. Those folks that choose to abuse that privilege are the ones we're trying to intercept here.
And I don't. Yes, but the reality is I know this has been an issue that's been brought up for many, many years, and it started from a lot of the wealthy homeowners that didn't want to see boats anchored in the water in front of them that they paid a lot for. And the reality is, just I live in Tarpon River, and on the Tarpon River there was a boat that was sinking, that was derelict on someone's dock, literally like spewing fuel and oil and everything. And we made it aware, and nothing happened until literally just. I mean, there was like people taking videos day by day, and that's like, again, people shouldn't be having derelict boats on the water, whether it be on a dock or not, anchored or not. And that, obviously, I'm totally for getting rid of anything that's dereliction, but people who are just trying to do it the right way. They have a fully operational sailboat or whatever it is, and they're trying to just, live their life and in peace and in harmony with the water and the boat. I just think that's criminalizing that because of the people who do it the wrong way is not, in my opinion, is just not what the city of Fort Lauderdale should be about.
Okay, thank you for your opinion. Yes, Bob.
To add a little bit of balance to that, in 1971, well, back in 1968, we adopted a constitution that gave municipalities home rule power, which meant that we could adopt anything that the state legislature could. 1971, we adopted an ordinance prohibiting the anchorage of vessels for more than 24 hours. That remained on the books and was enforceable in Fort Lauderdale up until 2009 when the state took it away from us. So it's not like, we've gone for a long period of time with this. The other thing is, in some respects, I regret that we had the conference agenda item because we had a number of folks here at conference that could have spoken out and told you a parade of horribles of what goes on there. For example, I'm on the boat and the guy is 50 feet away from me in his back. No, don't change that channel. I'm watching that football game. Stuff like that. People dropping trash off. There are a lot of problems, and this will go this is a good first step in addressing some of those things.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? There being none, would someone like to move to close public hearing?
Moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Herbst? Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and public hearing is now closed on OFR 2. Would someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduced.
The ordinance has been introduced. Please call the roll.
An ordinance of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending Section 8-145A of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Fort Lauderdale entitled Regulation of Vessels Anchored in Public Waterways, making it unlawful to anchor a vessel within the city's public waterways during certain time periods and repealing Sections 8-45B, C, D, and E thereof and providing for severability, repeal of conflicting ordinance provisions, and an effective date. Vice Mayor Herbst? Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and that ordinance is now approved on first reading. Jumping back to R1, this is appointment of board and committee members. Would you like to read the names into the record?
Yes. For the September 16th resolution, Central City Redevelopment Advisory Board, Christine Jones, nominated by Commissioner Glassman. Nuisance Abatement Board, Mark Dickerman, nominated by Commissioner Glassman. Avigdor Pemper, nominated by Commissioner Glassman. And for tonight's resolution, Audit Advisory Board, Eric So, nominated by Mayor Trentalis. Beach Business Improvement District Advisory Board, Ina Lee, for the category of Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce Beach Council Representative. Lori Johnson, primary member, representing the Weston Fort Lauderdale. Cody Bertone, primary member, and Alex Caceres, alternate member representing the W Fort Lauderdale, Sabrina Graves, primary member, Michael Dutton, alternate member representing B Ocean Resort, Lisa Namor, primary member, and Priscilla Guardo, alternate member representing Bahia Mar, Jose Torres, primary member, and Samuel Fiersteman, alternate member representing Ritz-Carlton, Sharon Howell, primary member, and Stephen Zunt, alternate member representing Marriott Courtyard, Jeffrey Peterson, primary member, and Daniel McDermott, alternate member representing Sonesta Fort Lauderdale Beach Resort, Stuart Levy, primary member, and Nestle Lauren, alternate member representing Hotel Marin, Robert Lackley, primary member, and Veronica Milanova, alternate member representing the Conrad Fort Lauderdale Beach Resort. For Board of Adjustment, Jason Hagopian, nominated by Mayor Gentalis, Jared Galis, nominated by Commissioner Sorensen, Central City Redevelopment Advisory Board, Jason Ross, nominated by Commissioner Glassman, Civil Service Board, Kevin Keimel, the employee's recommendation to the Civil Service Board, Community Service Board, Christy Rice, nominated by Commissioner Glassman, Parks, Recreation, and Beaches Board, Nizar Lavji, nominated by Commissioner Glassman, Public Art and Placement Advisory Board, Martha Gutierrez Steinkamp, nominated by Vice Mayor Herbst, Erica Mohan, and that's the designee of the chair of the Broward County Public Art and Design Committee. And since publishing, we do have one for the Infrastructure Task Force Advisory Committee. It's a reinstatement. They had been taken off for absences, and they.
Who was that?
Shane Grabsky.
Okay. Whose appointment?
Yeah,
was that?
Vice Mayor Herbst.
Okay.
And the reason why I brought it forward is that they have a meeting on September 8th, so this would be the time to.
Okay.
If we could get that one on. And
Was there a problem, John?
So one was a health issue with a child, the other was a health issue with a parent.
Is that right? Okay. Okay. Any additions or modifications to that list? If none, would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
Resolution's been introduced. Please call the roll.
And that's as amended?
As amended.
Thank you. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, appointing or nominating, if applicable, board and committee members as set forth in the exhibit attached hereto and made a part hereof. Vice Mayor Herbst? Yes. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and those board appointments and committee members have now been approved. I want to thank those individuals for making their time available to us and helping bring Fort Lauderdale to a better place than it is today. R2, resolution authorizing the issuance of special obligation bonds, Series 2025, not to exceed $115 million. We had that discussion this afternoon regarding it. Does anyone have any further questions or comments? There being none, no one has signed up to speak, so please call the. Someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduce.
It's been introduced. Please call the roll.
All right, bear with me on this one. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, providing for the issuance from time to time in one or more series of the city's special obligation bonds, providing that such bonds shall not constitute an indebtedness of the city within the meaning of any constitutional or statutory provision or limitation or a pledge of the city's full faith and credit, but shall be payable as to principal and interest solely from the pledged funds as provided herein, provided for the issuance of the first series of such bonds in an aggregate principal amount not exceeding $115 million to be designated City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida Special Obligation Bonds, Series 2025, Public Safety and Municipal Improvement Projects, for the purpose of providing funds together with other available monies to pay the costs of certain public safety and municipal improvements and to pay costs of issuance of such Series 2025 bonds, providing for the issuance of additional special obligation bonds and special obligation refunding bonds under certain conditions, providing for the creation of certain funds and accounts, establishing the form and denominations of the board of the bonds authorized to be issued hereunder, authorizing the execution, directing the authentication and delivery of said bonds, delegating to the city manager authority to determine the terms of the Series 2025 bonds within the parameters set forth herein, authorizing the public sale by competitive bid of the Series 2025 bonds and approving the form of official notice of bond sale, authorizing the city manager to award Series 2025 bonds within the parameters set forth herein, designating a bond register registrar and paying agent for the Series 2025 bonds, approving the form and authorizing the execution and delivery of a paying agent and bond registrar agreement for the Series 2025 bonds, approving the form and authorizing the distribution of a preliminary official statement for the Series 2025 bonds, approving the form and authorizing the execution and distribution of a final official statement for the Series 2025 bonds, providing for a book entry only system, approving the form and authorizing the execution and delivery of a continuing disclosure commitment for the Series 2025 bonds, authorizing city officials to do all things deemed necessary in connection with the issuance, sale, and delivery of the Series 2025 bonds, providing for severability, providing an effective date. Vice Mayor Herbst? Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and thank you for being able to read that whole thing into the record. You can take the rest of the night off. R3, quasi-judicial resolution for a site plan level 2 development permit and design deviation requests in Uptown Project Area, Cypress Development. Anyone wishing to speak must be sworn in, and the Commission will announce any site visits, communications, or expert opinions received and make them a part of the record. Vice Mayor, do you have any disclosures? Could you put your mic on?
Met with Stephanie Toothaker.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman had to step out. I also met with Ms. Toothaker. Commissioner Glassman?
I met with Stephanie Toothaker.
And Commissioner Sorensen.
And I met with Stephanie Toothaker.
Okay. So the only people that have signed up to speak are for questions only. So anyone else wish to speak on this item? There being none. Pam, do you want to make any disclosures with regard to this item?
Disclosures on R3.
R3.
Stephanie.
Stephanie Toothaker.
Okay. So someone like to move to close public hearing?
Moved.
Do I hear
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, the public hearing on R3 is now closed. Anyone have any questions with regard to this item? If none, someone would like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
Resolution's been introduced. Please call the roll.
And that's for approval?
Yes.
Thank you. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, approving the issuance of a site plan level 2 development permit for an alternative design deviation request that meets the overall intent of the Uptown Master Plan for a residential project to be known as Cypress Development, located at 150 Northwest 68th Street, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in the Uptown Urban Village Northeast Zoning District. Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and that item is now approved. Moving on to R4, quasi-judicial resolution, amendment to a site plan level 2 development permit in the Downtown Regional Activity Center. Anyone wishing to speak must be sworn in, and the Commission will announce any site visits, communications, or expert opinions received and make them a part of the record. We have a couple of people sign up to speak, Mr. Shine and Jonathan Trupman, but I assume that's just for questions, or do you have a presentation? Just for questions? Okay. Anyone have any disclosures? Vice Mayor?
Yes, I met with Mr. Shine.
Okay. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
I don't remember if I met with Mr. Shine on this one. I'm going to say I met with Mr. Shine.
Okay. Any meeting with Mr. Shine is memorable, so I would imagine that.
I remember that. I just don't remember the topic with it, but we met several times.
I know I met with Mr. Shine. Commissioner Glassman?
Site visit and met with Mr. Shine.
Site visit?
Yes, I did.
And Commissioner Sorensen?
Met with Mr. Shine.
Okay. So no one else has signed up to speak. Would someone like to move to close public hearing?
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and public hearing on R4 is now approved. Someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
The resolution has been introduced.
And that's for approval?
That's
For approval.
Thank you.
Yes.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, approving an amendment to a site plan level 2 development permit to amend the parking garage podium screening for the project known as Society, formerly known as Ex Los Solos, located at 221 Southwest 1st Avenue, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in the Regional Activity Center, City Center District, having an underlying land use designation of Downtown Regional Activity Center, providing for severability and providing for conflicts. Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Wait, I have a question here. Did you just say approve a resolution denying the proposed site plan?
No, approve it.
I said approving.
I need to hear from staff on this. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Because there's a big disconnect here, and I just need to understand it. The CAM says staff is recommending we approve a resolution denying the proposed site plan, correct?
Sorry, Anthony Fajardo.
Anthony, you want to explain this?
Yes. So basically, from staff's perspective, our concern is the quality of the materials on the screening, right? So we were originally told that when this was approved, it would last a decade. I believe it only lasted a couple of years before it started to deteriorate. The master plan calls for quality design and quality materials so that they can be durable. We don't feel that the material is strong enough to hold up. However, having said that, if the commission does wish to approve it, it would just become a code enforcement issue at that point.
Well, let me just say this. At the very beginning, when we approved this building, it came with a wrap around the parking garage that was very creative and very artistic. And not too long after the CO was granted, a few months afterwards, the previous owner took down the decorative wrap and left it open for many months, and then subsequently wrapped it with a much cheaper material. And now we see it wrapped with, to me, it's signage. It's not a decorative wrap, and it's a new owner. I met with the new owner, and the idea was that they were going to return it to some kind of decorative outside, but they refused to do that. So I was going to vote against this because I feel that they have not complied with the request of, I know, certain members of the commission as well as with city staff. So, Mr. Shine, if you want to talk about where we're going with this, that would be helpful.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. That's Andrew Shine with Lockery and Chagas representing the property owner. That's why I did figure I was going to be doing a presentation for this. Okay. With me, I have Jonathan Trutman with Flow, and if I can, we'll keep this under about 6 minutes, but I would like to have him just speak a little bit about Flow, just to give a little background on this project.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Trentalis, Vice Mayor Erbs, Commissioners and staff. Thank you for your time and consideration. We appreciate the effort you put here as all public servants, and we know you have a busy docket with many more important issues. Our founder, Adam Newman, had planned to be here personally, but unfortunately could not make it. He sends his apologies, but is happy to meet, hopefully on more productive and creative topics for the city and its residents. As a brief refresher on Flow, we were founded with a mission of oneness to connect people with our neighbors, ourselves, and our natural environment. In an age where our citizens are suffering from a crisis of disconnection, we are trying to remedy that, and Flow is dedicated to addressing this by building communities around connection and oneness. Here in Fort Lauderdale, we took over a legacy asset that was frankly a bit run down when we took it over, with a long-term vision and goal of turning the area around by building local community and positive connection.
You're saying the society building was run down?
The dressing specifically was run down, and I think there was improvements to the area and the community that was not being best to the community. Yes. Okay. What does it mean in practice? We sponsor events hosted by residents and welcome the wider community. We have over 600 people on a weekly running club. We've brought positive mission-driven tenants like Pura Vida, high-caliber office tenants like Humana, respectable restaurants like Ukiah, a weekly farmers market, and we're launching an organic grocery in November. As Adam expressed, we'd love to focus on even more investments and effort in Fort Lauderdale, but have been bogged down candidly with the permanent issues and decisions that were made prior to us taking over the property. Flo and Adam personally would love nothing more than to spend time partnering with the city and community on creative events, including art activations and residencies, like we were doing elsewhere at the communities we were building throughout South Florida, in Brickell, downtown Miami, El Portal, and Aventura. We appreciate your time and support in helping us move past this issue and focus on the future where we can build together.
Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit of the history, okay? Because I got there before you.
I'm sure you did.
Okay, so when we first granted the CO for this building, and part of the design process, the original owner had promised that they were going to put a full-scale grocery store in the building. Instead, they sold the commercial space, and all they did was food and beverage, much of which was either successful or unsuccessful, and it caused the interior ground floor to be degraded. Okay, and then in addition to that, they pulled down the decorative signage, which was a component to the approval process. We were very thankful they did it, and we told them you must continue to keep that high quality caliber wrap on the parking, otherwise you would be in violation of the original building permit. Okay, right now you have a sign. You can call it what you want. You can try to be holistic and feel good about all this stuff. It's a sign. It's not what it was intended to be. It was intended to be decorative art. Humankind is art. You put a little smiley face there. It might as well just be a copyright, because that's really what it is. And I don't know why you're fighting us on this. I don't know why this is so important for you that you want to do battle with the city, but this is unfair to what was originally intended, okay? And I don't know why you're doing this. So as far as I'm concerned, we don't want a sign there. We have, that's what billboards are for. And this is a very strategic area. It's at the very end of a sight line, that's very strategic in the city. And it is. And that's why you want to put a sign there, to brand your operation. First you had flow. You took forever to get that off. And now you put something else up there called humankind. So it's very disappointing that here we are tonight having to again do battle with you, and it's a very simple fix. But I don't know why you don't want to cooperate with us. So that's my position.
And if I may step in here, yes. I think there are different opinions on the design of this, and I don't know if this is working.
If I put Andrew Shine with a smiley face, would that be any better?
No, but that's not what my name is. That's not what this is about here. So what we've done is we did a lot of community outreach to determine whether this was viable and worth taking forward. And we have received an overwhelming amount of support.
Show me the poll that you took.
Do you enjoy seeing this installation in Fort Lauderdale? I don't have the exact. This is just I have, how does this make them feel? And then we get responses. Happiness. Give a word to how this makes them feel. Okay. And I understand that.
It's not making me happy.
I understand. And I understand that it's not traditional. I do. And it's in a non-traditional part of the city. I do think.
What do you mean non-traditional part of the city?
The riverfront.
It's our downtown.
But that riverfront area specifically, it's one of the coolest areas in Fort Lauderdale.
It was
frankly.
cooler until they built this massive structure there, where we had actually a very pretty, gathering place until the previous developer was approved to demolish the whole area, and they built this huge structure. And now you got phase 2, which is even bigger and more massive. Okay, tell me how cool that is.
The pedestrian experience there, it rivals what Riverfront was when I was growing up. Okay. At least to my generation.
Okay.
Perhaps not to all, but at least to my generation. And I do want to give a little bit of just the background on this, which you do know. This was approved as the exact same material screening that's there now. And it was slated to last 5 to 7 years. We know it did not last 5 to 7 years.
Wait, is that true? Is that the original approved screening material?
Not the original. It was the amended approved.
Oh, not
yes,
the original.
The one where. Okay. So my client purchased the property with, they did a lot of due diligence on a multi-$100-million property, and this was the last approval for it. And it says the applicant has indicated that the screening material is specified to last a decade, and intends to replace these specific art pieces with new pieces by other local artists every 5 to 7 years. The previous owner did not maintain that. This one has been up for almost 3 times the amount of the previous one, or 2.5 times the amount of the previous one. It's well maintained. And I don't think punishing a current property owner for the lack of maintenance on the previous property owner, or even the promises on from the previous property owner, would be fair in this instance. This will not last forever.
Andrew,
yes.
Andrew, when your client bought this, it had a different sign up there, flow. So I said, when you take the word flow down, put up an artistic piece. I said it face to face, and they said, we'll get back to you. Okay, they didn't make any promises. They just said, we'll get back to you. What do they do instead? They put another sign up there to brand themselves.
Humankind is more of what they project out to the community rather than a brand. It doesn't say that it's not Flow, it's not a website, it's Humankind. And we had suggestions to reach out to the community, which we did, and we had suggestions to reach out to the NSU Art Museum. I don't want to speak for Bonnie Clearwater here, but she said she loved it and we should put up a QR code on it. So everyone we've spoken to has enjoyed this, and it really does. This is a community-oriented building, unlike any other building in Fort Lauderdale. The amount of community activism that they do in building a community. And the Humankind is part of that. It's not part of their brand, but it's part of that overall ambiance and aura that they're trying to project out to the community. Okay. So I do understand, and this is not going to last forever, this screening. But
it's just going to replace it with another billboard.
We would have to come back to replace it with anything else.
My God.
But at this point, they relied on having this screening. They relied on it, and
excuse
they
me,
looked at this. Yes.
Don't even use that word, because before they changed it to Humankind, it was Flow.
The screening that's up there now, it doesn't look like this. It looks like that. That has not changed. We're not. This is without the flow. This is what's up there now.
So, Mayor,
this is what's been up there.
If I may interject,
would you please?
So the signage is a part of a code case, and it is not a part of today's approval. They cannot get approved for the sign tonight.
This issue is just about the material.
Is with regards to the screening. They
Right.
were approved for a particular screening. They sought to have it amended. It was approved administratively. The conditions for that administrative approval has failed. They came back to staff for another administrative approval. Staff denied it, and the City Commission called that item up. So you are now only considering the screening. Nothing in this action will approve the wording along with the screening. So that code case will still remain. They would still have to remove the screening.
Okay.
The signage with regards to Humankind.
Can you go to the previous slide? Right there. Doesn't that say Humankind to you?
It looks like one out of every 5 murals in Wynwood to me.
Oh,
but.
Okay. Well, we're not Wynwood,
I
so
know.
we only have one. We don't have 5. All right. Anyway, so the real issue here is on the material and not on the subject matter. So it's been called up. Who called it up?
And hasn't the material failed already?
Yeah.
The previous owner did not maintain it.
Right,
They've maintained it already.
But this material has not been approved administratively or by the commission.
Previously, it has. This was the same material.
You want to explain that to us?
Yeah.
Because Mr. Spence just said something differently.
No, Mr. Spence is correct. There are 2 distinct issues. We do have an open code case about the signage. So our code
That's
is very,
one thing, the signage.
Right. Our code is very distinctive in explaining what a sign is and basically what a super graphic is. The image that you saw the image that's up on the screen is a super graphic. No words, no text, no references to anything. Signs tend to advertise, right? And so that's the big difference. There is a process to go through for a sign of that size because signs are limited in size where super graphics tend to not be. So the change from the original to the next, I think, was done without approval and had to come in to fix it later on. But this is really about the material of the sign of the screening itself. And if it's denied tonight, it would go back to what it was originally.
Anthony, how does this not meet the principle of building design?
So it was a big concern with staff on the material and how long it would last. The principle of building design that's quoted in the CAM talks about high quality design, high quality materials. Because the material tends to deteriorate over time, we have a very harsh climate when it comes to things outside. It just didn't last as long as it was specified to. I mean, I think it was touted as something that could last up to a decade, but it didn't last anywhere near that long.
Lasted how long?
I believe it was only a couple of years before it started to deteriorate. And maybe it was a lack of maintenance. And like I said, if this is something that the city commission wants to see, again, there's a separate issue with the sign, but if the material isn't of a concern, it would become a code enforcement issue. However, you're looking at something that would probably be a repetitive problem over time.
Well, that was what I was going to just say, but you're already saying this already is a code issue.
For the sign.
For the sign.
Mm-hmm.
So it could also be a code issue for the material.
If they don't maintain it, yes, it could be. So we would cite like we do anybody else and give them a time to cure.
Right.
And if they did it in that period of time, it would be fine.
So why do we just want to keep going round and round and round and round on this? Like,
that's probably an answer for the applicant, not me.
So this has been called up.
So-
Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, let me jump in here. So, okay. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it. Come on up, both of you. Okay. So, what we're dealing with here tonight, is I called this up. It's the material. So, as you heard, staff is concerned about the durability of proposed material. Okay. What's your response to the concern about the durability of the proposed material? Will this last? So, basically, here's my question. Is it going to last? It's not going to last forever. How long is it going to last? Because nothing lasts. How long is it going to last? And what are you going to do as soon as it starts to show signs of deterioration?
So we put up the same material that was there. That was what we thought was approved and reliant. So obviously this will not last forever. I can't tell you how long it will. When we start to see deterioration, it's important to our brand and our image to maintain integrity. So as soon as we start to see that, if the commission believes we should, or the staff believes we should use a different material in the next sign, we're happy to consider that and be collaborative on it. What we don't want is to have invested the money using the same material that we had before and now saying, okay, we have to take it down and put in a different material. If on a go-forward basis, the determination is that all future signs should be of a higher grade material, then obviously, as good owners, we'll look into that. But I think our position is that we don't want to have wasted the money and then take this down before it starts to deteriorate. Once it starts to deteriorate, we will obviously replace it with something. And if that is determined to be a higher grade material, then we'll do that.
Did you get a permit to put this sign up?
We did not.
You did not?
No. It was before my time, but we did not.
Okay. So this was an unpermitted project. So now what?
I confess, Mayor, agreed. Our team in good faith saw something in tatters, went in, didn't realize they needed a permit. They didn't have a general counsel.
You didn't realize it needed a permit?
Yes, they did not realize they needed a permit. I would not tell you otherwise.
Okay.
Chris, is there anything you want to add to this? No? Okay. Okay.
So there's a motion, the resolution was introduced to approve. That's what's pending right now. That was Vice Mayor, I believe you said you did that?
I did not introduce the motion.
Who introduced the resolution?
I did.
Oh, Ben, you introduced the resolution to approve?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Mayor.
Okay.
And I'm still not done here, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So here's my expectation is that any deterioration of the material it's not up to city staff to go out and say, hey, things are deteriorating. My view is it's up to you to proactively say, this is not meeting the appropriate standards that we all agreed on, and that we're going to be proactive in working with the city staff to mitigate.
I agree with that, Commissioner, and that's why we changed it in the first place, because it had deteriorated.
And obviously doing unpermitted work is not acceptable.
It's not the way to do
right?
it, and I agree with you. And that,
so I don't know if this is going to pass, but if it does pass, that's surely the commission giving grace and expecting a better performance going forward without excuses.
I agree.
Okay. Yes, Mayor, I'm moving it.
Okay.
You're introducing it.
It's been
for
introduced
approval.
For approval. Okay. And where are we with the roll call?
I'm sorry, I'm confused now.
Go ahead.
Approval for denial?
No, it's
approval for approval.
It's approval for approval.
To allow the screening. Yes.
To keep it,
Commissioner.
keep what they've got, even though city staff says it doesn't comply with the current standards. Continue the roll.
Commissioner Glassman?
This is an interesting one for me, but I have to be honest. I'd just rather not see us have to come back and talk about this again pretty soon. I've read all the backup. Staff has explained very clearly why this does not meet the standard. I think we should just fix it now and fix it right and make sure that it does meet the standard and make sure that it does meet the principle of building design and make sure that it it just conforms with all that, or else we're just going to be here again when this deteriorates, and we'll have the same argument about the material. And I just rather see us do it the right way right now. So I'm gonna vote no.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman.
I got to give a little commentary myself here on this. What I'm thinking about with this process right now, with the possible deterioration of the signage, it would be determined by the owner that there's deterioration. When you determine that, what would be the timeline for you to change that signage?
It would be quick.
Quick is not a timeline.
So if we are replacing it in kind, it could be a month or 2 months until we could take it down immediately, but a month or 2 months until it goes back up. If we can't replace it with the same or similar material, then what we would have to do is take it down. We would have to come up with some other type of more, I guess, a permanent screening. That would have to go to the Development Review Committee, probably back to the Commission. That would be about a 6 to 8 month process, during which time the screening wouldn't be, it would just be an open face garage. Also, during that time, we would be getting a code violation for having an open face garage. So kind of between a rock and a hard place there. But yeah, if we replaced it in kind, 1 to 2 months. If we had to replace it with something brand new, 6 to 8 months, I would say. Well, 6 to 8 months until approval, plus maybe another 4 months for construction. So let's say a year.
A year. So if we,
Commissioner,
yes.
So that we're not confused, I just want to reiterate that we have a code case with regards to the sign, and we're not approving, and you're not asked to approve a signage. You're asked to approve the meshing.
Okay, understanding that, but where I'm going with this is, if we vote to deny this, and I'm thinking the sign has to come down. Is that the goal? It has to come down. How long will it be before it's replaced?
About a year.
Either way.
So the posture that you'd be, if you approve the denial, the posture that you'll be in is with their original approval, which is actually a metal facade that they would have to put up in place of what they have currently.
That's shown on the bottom of this photo, is what the original was.
Okay, and my question is that metal piece is not there now, right?
No.
Okay, so if we vote to deny this, the signage comes down, or the screening come down.
And they would have to go to the metal louver rod screening system.
How long will it take for them to get that? If it's going to be 6 to 8 months anyway, is what I'm trying to find out. Is it going to be 6 or 8 months anyway to get it to what we're saying is acceptable to the code?
I would say at least. I don't know what the materials were on the original one, if it's still available, the pricing of it. I would say at least 6 to 8 months.
What's the term? 6 dozen, a half a dozen to a dozen? Voting to, okay, what's my choices again? I'm sorry, we keep going around. Approving is meaning that it would stay the way it is?
Yes.
Okay, I approve it stay the way it is, yes.
Commissioner Sorensen.
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
No. So it approves. It's passed. Okay.
Thank you all.
And again, for the record, that this approval does not waive their violation of the sign code.
I agree.
Understood.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. R5, resolution approving and ratifying a collective bargaining agreement between the City of Fort Lauderdale and Federation of Public Employees, effective October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2028, and authorizing execution of the collective bargaining agreement. No one has signed up to speak. Anyone have any questions with regard to R5? There being none, would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, approving and ratifying a collective bargaining agreement between the City of Fort Lauderdale and the Federation of Public Employees, the division of the National Federation of Public and Private Employees, AFL-CIO, effective October 1, 2025 through September 30th, 2028, and authorizing execution of the collective bargaining agreement. Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Having just celebrated Labor Day, this makes perfect sense. Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman? Yes. Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and R5 is now approved. PH1, public hearing. This has been asked by the applicant to be deferred to which meeting now?
16. September 16.
September 16, 2025. We don't have to vote on that, do we?
Yes. I think to
Do
keep
we have to vote on that, do you, Wayne? To defer?
To keep the advertising, correct?
Yes, in order to preserve the notice.
Move to defer to September 16th, 2025.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman? Yes. Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and that's now been deferred to September 16th. PH2, public hearing, quasi-judicial resolution, approving the rescission of the historic landmark site designation of the property commonly known as the Robinson Cobb House. Anyone wishing to speak must be sworn in, and the commission will announce any site visits, communications, or expert opinions received and make them a part of the record. Does anyone have any disclosures on that? Vice Mayor?
No.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman? I don't recall any either. Commissioner Glassman?
I had email communications with Mr. Paul Falcone.
Okay. And Commissioner Sorensen?
Nope.
None. Okay. No one has signed up to speak. Is the owner of the property here tonight? Hi. You want to come up here and just tell us what went on?
Sir, stop talking.
We applied for historical designation in 2002, and it was approved.
Wait. What is your name?
Robinson.
Okay.
I'm Ben Robinson.
Mr. Robinson, did you sign in to speak up there?
No.
All right. Since it's quasi, can I just swear you in real quick?
Sure.
Do you swear affirm the evidence you're about to receive is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
And it was approved, and 23 years later, I'm ready to move on, and nobody's going to let me move on until it's no longer historical.
So
basically,
why was it approved as historic to begin with?
Does anyone remember Marilyn Rathburn?
Yes.
She did research with us, and we made a presentation based on the mid-modern aspect of the house, and it had an unusual addition to it, and it was approved.
And you volunteered to have it approved?
Yes.
Okay. But now you don't want it. You don't want it anymore.
No.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Cobb has passed on.
Right.
And it's just it was nice having a historical home all these years, but unfortunately we're not in Charleston or Savannah where it's a big deal, you know.
Okay.
So we just need to get it rescinded.
Okay.
Mayor, if I could add, this was an interesting case back in the day. Originally, the Historic Preservation Board actually denied the historic designation on this, and the commission, at the urging of one of the commissioners, actually approved the historic designation after the Historic Preservation Board said no.
What do they know?
Because there were modifications to the house to the extent where they felt that it really no longer was historic or met the criteria. So this was a very interesting case that we normally don't see.
Right. Exactly.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else wish to speak on this item? There being none, would someone like to move to close public hearing? Someone move to close public. It's been moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Herbst, not present. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and public hearing on PH2 is now closed. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
And that's for approval?
Approval.
Thank you.
Approval of the
Approval
rescission.
of rescinding.
Approval of the rescission.
Right. Yes. Please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, approving rescission of the historic landmark site designation of the Robinson Cobb House located at 1109 Northeast 16th Place, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in accordance with Section 47-24.11 of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida Unified Land Development Regulations, providing for conflicts and providing for an effective date. Vice Mayor Herbst, not present. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman? Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and PH2 is now approved. Moving on to ordinance of second reading, OSR 1, quasi-judicial ordinance approving vacation of right-of-way utilities public purpose easement. Anyone wishing to speak must be sworn in, and the commission will announce any site visits, communications, or expert opinions received and make them a part of the record. Commissioner Beasley Pittman, do you have any disclosures?
No new disclosures.
I have no new disclosures. Do you have any new disclosures, Commissioner Glassman?
No new, thank you.
And Commissioner Sorensen?
None.
Okay. No one signed up to speak. Would someone like to move to close public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Herbst, not present. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and public hearing on OSR 1 is now approved. Someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduced.
The ordinance has been introduced. For approval, please call the roll.
An ordinance vacating a retained right-of-way utilities and public purpose easement lying within the vacated Northwest 16th Avenue right-of-way recorded in Official Records Book 12602, page 611, as recorded in the public records of Broward County, Florida, located east of Lauderdale Manor Drive, north of Northwest 18th Court, west of Northwest 15th Avenue, and south of Northwest 19th Street, all said lands being in the city of Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Vice Mayor Herbst, not present. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and OSR 1 is now approved on second reading. OSR 2, second reading, quasi-judicial ordinance, rezoning from residential multifamily low-rise medium density district to the Northwest Regional Activity Center mixed-use West District. New Hope Development Corporation. Anyone wishing to speak must be sworn in. The commission will announce any site visits, communications, or expert opinions received and make them a part of the record. Commissioner Beasley Pittman, any additional disclosures?
No new disclosures.
I have no new ones. Commissioner Glassman?
None new.
And Commissioner Sorensen?
No new.
Okay. No one has signed up to speak. Someone like to move to close public hearing?
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll on closing public hearing.
Vice Mayor Herbst, not present. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and public hearing is now closed. Someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduced.
The ordinance has been introduced.
In ordinance amending Section 47-1.6.b of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida Unified Land Development Regulations through the revision of the official zoning map of the City of Fort Lauderdale and Schedule A revised compilation attached thereto and by reference made a part thereof so as to rezone from residential multifamily low-rise medium-density district to Northwest Regional Activity Center mixed use West District, all of lots 9 and 10, Block 11, Lincoln Park, according to the plat thereof as recorded in Plat Book 5, page 2 of the Public Records of Broward County, Florida, located north of Northwest 6th Street, east of Northwest 14th Avenue, west of Northwest 13th Terrace, and south of Northwest 7th Street, all said lands being in the City of Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Can he vote on this since he didn't do his disclosures? Do you want to do your disclosures, John?
None.
Okay. Go ahead.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, so OSR 2 is now approved on second reading. We have OSR 3, second reading, an ordinance repealing the residence requirement of department directors of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Fort Lauderdale and to remove the requirement that department directors reside in the city limits. One person signed up to speak, but he's left the meeting. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? Someone like to move to close public hearing?
Moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
No.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley
You voted
Pittman?
no to close public hearing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Public hearing.
Okay.
my mistake.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Close the public hearing.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and public hearing is now closed on OSR 3. Would someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduced for approval.
Introduce for approval. Please call the roll.
In ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending Chapter 2, Article 3 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida by repealing Section 2-41 titled Residence Requirement for Department Directors to remove the requirement for department directors to reside in the city limits, providing for severability, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinance provisions, providing for correction of scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. Vice Mayor Herbst?
No.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and OSR 3 is now approved on second reading. We have two walk-on items. The first is a walk-on a resolution approving an airport infrastructure grant agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration for the design of Runway 27 bypass taxiway and run-up area relocation project. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
Resolution has been introduced. No one has signed up to speak. Any questions? Please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, authorizing the acceptance of grant funds from the Federal Aviation Administration in the approximate amount of $637,954 for the Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport for the Runway 27 bypass taxiway and run-up area relocation project, delegating authority to the city manager to finalize the terms and conditions of the grant agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration to accept such grant funding, and authorizing the city manager to execute the grant agreement and providing for an effective date. Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and that resolution is now approved. The second walk-on resolution is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale amending resolution number 25-142 to expand the appointment of Weiss Sirota, Helfman, Cole, and Bierman to represent the City of Fort Lauderdale in a matter regarding the Florida Department of Transportation concerning traffic control device noncompliance and providing for an effective date. Someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
Anyone have any questions? There being none, please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending resolution number 25-142 to expand the appointment of Weiss Sirota, Helfman, Cole, Bierman, PL to represent the City of Fort Lauderdale in a Florida Department of Transportation traffic control device noncompliance matter and providing an effective date. Vice Mayor Herbst?
No.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and OSR 3 is now approved. The walk-on is now approved by the Commission. Is there any further business of the City Commission? There being none, that meeting is concluded. Let's return to the conference agenda. Conference agenda, we had left off regarding City Commission reports. Vice Mayor, do you have any Commission reports?
Nope.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
No reports. Just want to thank everyone while I was under doctor's care, medical treatment, for the kind calls and prayers. Thank you for thinking of me and continue to do so. Thank you.
Get better soon.
Thank you.
Commissioner Glassman.
Yes, very quickly. August 25th, I do want to thank the three neighborhoods on the beach, Dolphin Isles, Birch Park Beach, and the Lauderdale Beach Homeowners Association. An excellent meeting over at the Beach Community Center, and I wanted to thank the leaders of those neighborhoods for coming together for that meeting. August 30th was a very strong evening. Really enjoyed attending the AFL-CIO Labor Ball and seeing so many folks from our city at the Diplomat Hotel in Hollywood. And September 2nd, just last night, an excellent meeting. Thank you, staff, for conducting that, for the Central City Mixed-Use Rezoning District proposal, that update. And I guess that will be going on to Planning and Zoning and then on to us. So I just wanted to thank everyone that attended that. And coming up on September 13th, we have the International Swimming Hall of Fame Awards at the Sonesta. And that's it from me, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Sorensen.
Thanks, Mayor. Just one comment. September 11th, it's our 24-year anniversary of 9/11 and the horror that was. And we have the city remembrance. It's 9 a.m. On the Riverwalk, near the sign we were talking about, actually near the wharf. So I want to invite everyone to come out.
Isn't it at the Fire Safety Museum?
Yeah.
I've got West Las Olas. Let me see.
It's at the Fire Safety Museum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, stand corrected. I thought I was at the. Great. So at the Fire
Not
Safety.
here. It's not at the Sandy Ninninger statue.
No. It's not on the Riverwalk.
Yeah.
Oh, the evenings at the. Okay. Thank you, Chief. So, 9 a.m. Fire Safety Museum. So please join us if you're available. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Does that conclude your remarks?
Yes.
Okay. Just a couple of things. I was very happy to attend Rabbi Kaplan of the Downtown Jewish Center on August 26th. He was celebrating his 50th birthday, so Mazel Tov, happy birthday, Rabbi. It was a great event, brought out a lot of people in your congregation, so I was very happy to be part of that. Also attended the Labor Ball, very well attended. Many of the speeches were very, very important, and so very happy to hear that the labor movement continues to thrive. Yesterday, I did the welcoming remarks at the Community Leaders Breakfast for Tori Alston, who's the new president of Broward College, and that is going to be followed by this Friday his investiture as president of Broward College, which is going to be at 1 p.m. at Bailey Hall in Davie. So anyone wishing to come, please know that everyone is welcome. And a couple things. First of all, I noticed that the city has finally filed suit against the parties in connection with the La Soul's garage on Fort Lauderdale Beach. A 16-count lawsuit was finally filed to try to derive damages that we have suffered now as a result of the defect in the workmanship and the materials used in the lighting as well as the screening of that garage. So that was filed this week, so very happy to see that moving forward. I guess every effort at mediation failed, Mr. Spence?
In terms of voluntary mediation, yes.
Okay. Okay, and that's it. Okay, City Manager, do you have a report?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to share that our teams, including police, fire, parks and recreation, and others, are already preparing for the boat show, which is going to take place on October 29th through November 2nd. So you should have received some communication from the event organizers as to potential participation by the City Commission, so look out for that. Our IT department recently launched the Cyber Smart Initiative, where they're providing cybersecurity training for our neighbors at various civic association, homeowners association meetings. They did a soft launch over the summer, and they're going to do a hard launch this month with the Council of Civic Associations at their next meeting. Our sandbag distribution is going to have its 5th installment this weekend on Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 1 at 5 parks: Floyd Hull, George English, Holiday Park, Mills Pond, and Riverland Park. To date, we've distributed about 1,900 bags of sand. As far as the City Hall project, we discussed this a little bit earlier, but we do intend to come to the October 7th meeting to have a discussion on the evaluation of the 6 proposals. Holiday Park will follow suit, likely in late October or early November, with a discussion of the 3 proposals that we received.
This is regarding the parking structure?
Yes.
Okay.
That concludes my report.
Okay.
Mayor, actually I have a question.
Yes.
Last week we got an email memo on the one-stop shop. What do we need to talk about that, take action on that, or what's...
Is anyone prepared, Mr. Spence, anyone prepared to talk about that tonight?
Well, the memo that was issued came from your three of your 4 charter officers who have been working together with the developer to identify opportunities to cure the default that had been issued earlier this summer. The city attorney, and I'm sure he will speak to this, issued a partial cure. Staff went through a long and arduous process of trying to obtain the documentation necessary as required based on the provisions of the default. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Spence.
You should have received a copy of notice of partial cure and intent to waive previously notice default. Our office previously sent a notice of default to One Stop FTL, citing default of Section 4.1, Section 3.3.1, and Section 13.16. The notice essentially says that there was a partial cure of default with regards to Section 4.1.
That would be the financing end of it.
The financing end of it.
But there are other things they still remain in default.
Correct. And so there was essentially an offer of a waiver. If we enter into an agreement, we've been calling it a recognition agreement. I haven't heard from either party as yet with regards to that offer, but that would be the next step.
So, to your point, we need to put some deadlines here, right?
Yeah, I mean, Mayor, I have major concerns with this.
I'm disagreeing with
as
you.
I've talked to staff about this, they have significant concerns with this, and this process the last couple of months have been incredibly difficult for staff to get what they need. So, yeah,
that's not the story I'm getting from staff. And I also sat in on those meetings, all of them actually, with staff and the development team. And as far as I'm concerned, they have submitted all of the information that was requested by the team of all of the charter officers who sat there. It was an arduous process, I'll agree with you. But I don't see anything that is violation of the comprehensive agreement that was established.
Well, that's not true because they haven't paid their rental fee.
Well, no, but again.
And they haven't submitted to DRC yet.
Correct.
Those are two major things.
Those are the two things that still have to be determined in terms of the timeline. But
the timeline was a year and a half ago.
No, but we had a meeting and we discussed it, and then a letter went. Well, I'm only repeating what has already been sent to us, but as it stands now, staff issued I guess what you call it, a partial cure.
A partial cure, recognizing that they had the financing in place,
correct,
but they still haven't paid the rental payment or submitted to DRC.
Correct. Well, would you pay the rental agreement if you only had a partial cure? Wouldn't you want to be told that you've cured the default before you paid the money? In other words, why would you pay the money if you haven't been told that the cure is in place?
But the cure is the payment.
It's like rent.
It's
a chicken and the egg.
No. As a landlord, wait.
In terms of the payment, though, we do need to clarify the record. The payment was something that the commission offered up because based on the current comprehensive agreement, that payment is not due until after the CO.
Correct.
All right. So they had offered, in some discussion here with the commission, in recognition of the time that it took to get to this point, that they would make these payments up front. So a part of that waiver of the default in terms of the time is of the essence. We're looking to get an agreement that sets out milestones in terms of recognizing those payments and other
and DRC.
issues.
Right.
DRC. Right.
And financing is there. It's there. They're ready to go, but I believe, because it's been a long, arduous process, I just think that we need to wrap this up now. Wrap it up. Get the check and get the timeline for DRC.
Okay, so why don't we establish the timeline tonight?
Actually, Mayor, before we get to that, I have a high degree of discomfort with the partial release. So, Dwayne, please tell me what you've done to assure yourself that the financing is actually there.
I'm the attorney in the room.
Okay.
That question I would have to defer to the city manager and the city auditor.
So who has actually determined that the purported financing actually exists? So as an auditor, which I've spent most of my career as, we do what we call third-party confirmations. So when I go and audit you and you say you have cash in the bank, I send a confirmation to the bank to independently confirm that, because I can't rely on the assertion that you make to me that you have cash in the bank. So I have to independently confirm that with a third party that's not connected to you. What have we done to assure ourselves that there is actually financial capacity available with the supposed financier?
we received four items that, four documents that were provided that supports, that supposedly supports that they have the financing. In my opinion, really two of them are allowing two individuals the right to negotiate and do some things, and the other one, the third item, has with the intention to do it. And there's still a couple things, but the bottom line for me from an audit standpoint is that I don't know what bank they're dealing with, and I don't know what the terms are, and I don't know when that money is coming. That's an understanding that that is a request that I've made that will be in that new, I don't know what we're calling the letter, the new letter that was going to go out as one of the requirements. But to me, the four documents that we have are, to me, has not satisfied to myself that we actually have the funding. I'd like to, like you would say, confirm that we have the funding with a bank and which bank it is and so forth. So
then why did you put your name on a partial cure
well,
letter?
I'm only saying that those are the things that we asked for, but as we receive something, there's a new there's always a new twist to it. Like, you know, there's a new person now involved that we don't know who it is. I haven't been able to confirm him. So there's a couple of things that are still pending, but if everything works out, there's a possibility that it's there. But the main thing that I brought up is there's a document called a deed that's transferring $500 million in bonds from one asset manager to a different asset manager. And I kind of question that was not recorded. Right now it's a piece of paper. It might be legit, but I don't know if that really makes sense if one asset manager is transferring their assets that they're managing for someone to another asset manager. And the original collateral for the project, from what I was told from the BGC company, is that it's all being collateralized by Nicholas Del Franco, but I don't know whatever happened to that. So that was kind of another open item that I don't know.
But that's not what your letter said.
Well, the letter says we asked for four things. We wanted confirmation on, and it says it the way it says it. It says we have intent to do this now, but it didn't really say what bank is it, when it's going to happen, what is the terms of it. So that's still kind of up in the air. If you lay those four documents out, you know, if everything went perfect, maybe that is confirmation that they have the funding. But until I see a confirmation which bank it was, when it is, I don't really know if that is really there. But what we asked for, we had requested, again, like the last change was there's a new person involved with the company that's transferring over the bond amount. But again, like I said, I don't know who that person is. The original name they used was somebody that was not related to that company, and so then they added a new name, and we don't even have anything other than a passport number on the person, which again, that needs to be, you know, vetted and looked at. But right now, he may be totally legit. I don't know.
But that's not what your letter said.
Well, the letter says that, you know, and I had some, you know, discussion with everybody on the I guess you could say the committee that was looking at it, is that we still have the opportunity not to really decide if it was completed with that new letter, where they have to handle the two other open items and the requests that they're going to confirm what bank and what the criteria and the terms were for that. So we know that we can verify that the money is there. Because if you really look at it, there's still a piece in the first letter that says that the BCC structure program will look at this. And that's the same group on the letter of June 3rd that said, these are the three criteria that they still have to go through before that we're going to approve it. So in a roundabout way, you have to ask the question, is that item still required that this outside group approve and vet everything they want before they give us the money? So if that all works out, it's possible that would work, but it's still kind of open. I have to.
I don't see it as open. Having sat on all of those meetings and watched what you and Susan and Raquel and Dwayne asked these people at how many meetings were there? 3, 4?
There were 3, and I believe you attended some.
Most. And every single one of those meetings, a list was generated and agreed upon with every single person in the room. And then by the next meeting, all of those things were supplied. And then more things were requested at a subsequent meeting, and those things were supplied. And then more things were requested at a subsequent meeting, and those things were supplied, to the point where a partial cure letter was issued. And now the only remaining items are, give us the timeline for DRC, and when can we expect the check? Again, if someone's asking me for a check for $250,000, I'm going to say, are we all good? Am I going to give you this money? Or am I going to give you this money, then you're going to come back and tell me we're not good? In other words, you have to be a fool. You have to be a fool to write a check for $250,000, not knowing that the project is moving forward. Yeah. Because then they're just going to go to court and we're going to get sued. Because, again, no one has shown me where the terms of the comprehensive agreement have not been met. And I watched this very.
Whoa.
No, they're not.
So we still have not gotten confirmation that there is actually any financing out there.
Yes, we have.
No, we have assertions. We have representations. That is not. No, Commissioner. That's not.
Then
you
these
don't
people
understand how this works. This is not your area of expertise. They didn't teach that to you in drama school.
Well, we certainly know it's your area of expertise.
It is, exactly. I'm a 40-year CPA.
And you know what?
Yes.
You were the auditor during this project, and we know how that went.
And I objected to it.
So now all of a sudden you're having issues.
No,
you were
I had
auditor,
issues with it at the time.
You were the auditor into Miami, and all of a sudden you had issues. You've been the auditor for 16 years. I can give you a whole list.
And I objected to every single one of those, and they're lousy deals.
On the issue. The issue is this. When the representatives from the organization were standing at the podium, we had requested for verification of their financing, and once default was waived, they said they would make the payment of the rent. They said that right there at
when
the
it was
podium.
cured. Right.
So they received a letter saying that the default on the financing was cured, but they still owe the $250,000. So there was they didn't put any strings attached to that. They said as soon as the cure was waived, the cure was made, then they would make the payment. So where is it? And
because
then also,
it hasn't been. It's a partial cure. No one that is going to finance this project is going to release funds based on a partial cure.
When a landlord sends a 3-day notice saying, you're in default of your lease and you have 3 days to make the payment, the tenant says, well, how do I know that if I make the payment, that default is going to be cured? Well, that's how you cure it, with the payment. Okay? So you can't expect a waiver of the default on the rent payment before the rent payment is due and paid.
All I can say is, these people that are trying to do this project, which I still believe is an excellent project for not just my district, but for the city, they have to be the biggest masochists in the world to be going through this entire process and still saying that we want to do this project, because I can't even imagine that if they didn't have the wherewithal to do this project, if they didn't have the financing to do this project, if they didn't have the commitment to do this project, then why the hell would they be putting themselves through this ridiculous process for all this time? Because I'm telling you right now, I watched those meetings. I participated in those meetings, and there was always something else that was asked of them, and they always then gave that extra piece of information. Now, I believe that we're right at the end. I've asked the city manager to again meet with the attorney for the team and to just figure it out. What's the DRC process timeline, and when can we expect the check?
Well, why don't we make that decision right now? Let's make the decision right now when they have to submit to DRC and when they have to make the rent payment. And upon doing that, those items will be cured. So the rent payment should be due within 10 days from today, and that will be cured. And the DRC has to be submitted within 90 days. So if we say that, then that will be cured. So it's very simple. It's really simple.
Well,
Mayor, that just to clarify, that sort of deviates slightly from what we had discussed with them, which was to have what we're calling the recognition agreement, where we stipulate that there would be a payment on a certain date and that the DRC submittal will happen by a certain date and some other parameters to add a little bit of clarity around how this project will move forward, given that the comprehensive agreement isn't as clear as it probably could have been.
We're setting clarity today. We're doing this now.
Well, I have an objection to this process. If we were going to do this now and set clarity and vote, then that team should have been here. This should have been an agenda item, not just we were almost ready to adjourn. Commissioner Sorensen said, "Oh, by the way,
don't yell."
I'm not yelling.
Yes, you are.
This came out of the blue. No one is here. There's no due process. There's no one able to defend themselves.
Hold on. There is due process.
No, there's not. No, there's not.
Excuse me.
No, there's not.
It's a city commission meeting where this is a important project in our commission.
Is there an
in the
agenda
city,
item for this?
And
all right, so you know
we're
what?
Able to bring it up.
Next meeting, we'd like to have this as a conference item agenda, and we'd like to invite them to come, and let's agree upon dates, and maybe they'll bring a check with them. So,
and maybe we can get a confirmation that the cash actually exists that's supposedly backing up this financing.
Okay.
Can we
That
please
sounds
get a
good.
confirmation?
Yeah, it's more than
Susan has a background in this as well. She knows how to do a confirmation letter.
Right. Was Susan's name on the cure letter, partial cure letter?
Susan assisted in every aspect of this discussion and with the memorandum.
Okay, so I guess she does, Commissioner Herbst.
No, she did not get a confirmation. I'm asking her to do that. Please don't tell me. You have no idea what you're talking about, Commissioner.
She was part of this entire process that issued the partial cure.
Susan, did you get a confirmation from a bank saying that they have cash available? Very simple. Did you get a confirmation? Not a representation, not an assertion, and you know what I'm talking about.
Leading the witness.
We did receive a copy of a, I want to call it a trust statement or, hold on, I'll tell you what it's labeled. But we can send an independent confirmation to the bank.
Exactly. That's all I'm asking
But
for.
we did get a copy of the bank statement from Gauntlet, and it is a custody statement with that $500 million of U.S. dollars. So we can send an independent confirmation to
That's all
them.
I'm
But we
asking
did
for.
get a copy of the bank statement.
Well, I'm not sure if that's what that is, because the way they're doing that is they're creating a deed saying that the company Gauntlet is transferring $500 million of bonds to BGC Global. That's all they're doing. That still doesn't mean that they're going to use any of that money to give the $140 million loan. But that's one of those documents where I'm saying there's a process there, which I think that item should have been recorded, but it's not. We're dealing with a Bahamian company that should have been recorded that. But again, that's just a transfer. That doesn't mean we have the money's coming. Secondly, again, if you look at that first document where they're saying that they're ready to do business with One Stop, it says they intend to do it. They never said this is the bank, this is the interest, this is what we're doing here. So that's questionable. That might come to be true, but that's another questionable document. The other two documents, the other document is putting George Matheru as someone who can negotiate this contract. But it doesn't mean that he did it or he's going to do it, but he has the authority to do it. And then the other document is there's a guy named Michael T. Williams who has the authority to work and negotiate with the Gauntlet's funds with BGC. To me, again, that doesn't really say that we have money coming to a bank. So my point of agreeing that, well, you got four documents here, that if everything went perfectly, then you might have the funding. But I don't really think anyone would looking at that say, yeah, definitely we have it. So my understanding is that the next step, we're creating a document that says we have some requirements with 13.1, 13.3 or whatever, and I persisted to say that we need to show that what bank are we dealing with and get confirmation with that bank that the money. That's all I'm saying. There still seems to be a lot to go on, and I think the $140 million is a much bigger deal than the 250. The 250 is not really even part of the contract, in my opinion. It was just kind of a good thing that we wanted to pursue that we did at a couple of meetings ago, but that to me is almost like a side thing. I'm more concerned about getting the $140 million. And I originally wrote some points down, but I tell you, to me, there's some red flags here. I have some concerns with inconsistent information from May 6th all the way till last week. There's so many changes, so many documents that we've added, but then we deleted, and then we add A's or 2811, but then we take them out, and so now there's no sign of that person. And I personally called London to speak to the George Matheru, and he didn't even know Jeffrey John. He didn't even know who he was, and we got an agreement that said he's going to be the one-stop person that's handling
Pat,
this.
wait, let me back you up on that. Hold on.
What?
You're telling me the guy who's providing $140 million in financing has no idea who he's giving it to?
I asked that question on July 29th, and there was no answer. So there's a lot of open holes. Maybe he didn't. He didn't recall your accent.
And
this is as bad as the first time when I asked the guy who he was borrowing the money from, and he didn't even know the company.
If they have the money, that's all. And yet you signed a partial cure letter.
I only did it with the agreement that they gave us some information that we requested by changing the name here, doing this, telling us, the person from Gauntlet is not even listed in their profile, and they give us another name. That deed change, that deed change doesn't mean anything to me.
If I may interrupt at this moment. So the partial cure letter was only signed by myself. And what we're dealing with in terms of providing notice, we have to provide notice with regards to any alleged default under the agreement pursuant to the requirements of the agreement. We provided that default notice, and in consultation with the other charters, I issued that partial cure letter that said that, in fact, that 4.1 was a partially cured, and dealt with the partial waiver. So in terms of dealing with the outstanding matters, again, I haven't heard anything from these individuals in terms of my letter, and no responses from them. Mayor, if you're looking to address anything, it would have to be at a regular scheduled meeting.
And that's fine if we can put it on a conference as a conference item and at a future meeting, hopefully next time.
No, what I'm saying, you can't do a motion or
It'd have to be at a commission meeting.
At a conference
we could
meeting.
put it as a conference agenda item, and if we have to vote on anything, we can do it that evening. We do that all the time. But the point is that I just, look, I have been in favor of this project from day one. I think it would be a tremendous opportunity for Flagler Village and the downtown to have something like this as part of our downtown urban experience. Okay, I totally agree with that, but it's not happening. Okay, it's a flim-flam. We keep getting different names, different characters. One of the staff people here in our city told me that some of the letterhead looked like it was cut and paste, like it wasn't even part of something that looked original. Come on. I mean, we either do it or get off the pot. It's like this is very important to the city. It's a prime piece of real estate for the city, and there are other uses that we could consider for it if we're not moving forward with this particular project. So, yes, I remember the time when the applicant, Mr. John, stood up there, and when we asked him who the lender was, he couldn't answer the question, and I mean, it's just, and then the fellow that was with him is no longer part of the deal. So who was the lender? So, again, yes, red flags keep flying in our face. So we need to just, find out with certainty what's happening and put milestone deadlines. That $250,000 was something I requested just as a show of good faith. And if they can't come up with $250,000, how are they going to come up with $140 million?
So based on the discussion, I take it that the offer to waive is on pause at this moment, if not withdrawn until the commission.
No. You did what you did. We respect it. We support you. Okay, but now as Commissioner Glassman said, it'd be unfair to put those additional milestones to cure the other defaults, which was the $250,000 and the submission to DRC. So let's give them the opportunity to respond to that, when they're going to pay the $250,000 and when they're going to go through DRC. And that's when each of those events occur, then we will consider them having been cured.
So. And the reason why I say that is, I consider the offer to waive, as you know, as an attorney, they haven't accepted it as yet. And once
Did
they
you
have
make the offer to waive?
Well, that's what's in the letter.
In the
So
letter.
we have the partial cure and an offer of waiver
And
based
they've
on
never
certain
responded.
conditions.
Just,
They haven't
just
responded.
to add to what Dwayne is explaining, when I did not see a written response to the partial cure letter, I did reach out to a representative of the developer yesterday and spoke briefly. And my understanding is that they are supportive of moving forward with the recognition agreement. However, I have not seen anything in writing to that effect.
And under the terms of the agreement, that doesn't.
Is there a time certain on when they have to accept it by?
There isn't a time certain with regards to that. So my question is, though, if we do receive the acceptance, then we do go through the process in good faith of negotiating the.
Understood. But let's.
No, I just wanted to make sure that.
Totally
the commission
understood. So why don't
understood.
let's put this on as a conference agenda item and ask them to come and get some milestone dates that we can establish some certainty. You held out your offer to cure those other two defaults, and let's see how we're going to be able to follow through on both of those. I think that's only fair to everybody, but we need to move forward on this.
And Mayor, I apologize, Pam. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, is this process fair to us?
Thank you.
I don't understand this. I'm just as a layperson. Who does business like this? If someone came to my house and we went into a conversation about a contract and all these things, I would be like, wait a minute, Better Business Bureau, police, somebody, this is fraud. I will have a situation with this. And as a responsible commission, to just say, let's keep it going, let it roll. When it comes through, I'm voting no. Telling you now, I'm not doing this.
All right. Well, there's no vote right now.
Understood. I'm just putting it out there.
But
they can come
I'm
with
good
the
with
500
rescinding the
million.
waiver.
I'm saying no.
I think it's time to consider rescinding the waiver. They haven't accepted it.
Okay, so let's, Commissioner Sorensen, let's put on as a conference agenda item, invite them to come, and let's get some certainty as to the expectations of performance on their part.
Sure. But Mayor, I really do want to see some confirmation of financing by that point.
Well, you can ask them about that when they come here.
No, I want staff to get this. I want us to independently confirm this before we have that meeting. I want to know that the money is there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We need confirmation of financing in the next 3 days.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If they can't get that is a major problem.
So, Susan, did you say there's no confirmation of funds?
There needs to be a confirmation of funds
confirmation
that our city auditor is all thumbs up and supportive of, in my view, and Susan, both of them.
We were provided a copy of the bank statement, but we did not do, as the Vice Mayor said, a confirmation letter,
Like
which
a
would be
commitment?
typical. Well, a confirmation letter would be we write to them directly and they respond to us directly, as opposed to having a statement provided to us
You write to
through
whom?
them.
You
So-
write to whom directly?
At this point, it would probably be Gauntlet Holdings, who are the ones that have the trust statement
So
that was provided.
why haven't we written to them directly to request what you just said?
Well, we got the 4 different documents, and one of them was the bank statement, and we do have a corporate resolution from Gauntlet. But again, it was provided through the folks at One Stop as opposed to us getting it directly
But
to
isn't
them.
that what you had requested? Plus, I think the seal, you wanted the seal, and you requested all of that, and you got all of that.
Correct, but we got it through One Stop as opposed to writing directly to Gauntlet and having them send something directly to us. That would be the difference, as opposed to just the copies of.
So then
the
why
things.
wasn't that one of the things that was written on the board? We need that, what you just mentioned, as opposed to just through Gauntlet. Why was it not phrased that way so that you would be satisfied?
Well, it doesn't matter. We just need to do the right thing.
Because I'm saying that I believe that the funds have been shown, so that's the discrepancy.
You know
that's
what?
all.
Ben Sorensen can tell me that he's got $100 million in the bank and that he's a friend of yours. That doesn't mean he's committed it to you, and doesn't mean he's committed to the project. Just mean he's got $100 million.
That's
all we're talking about.
As I
here.
said, then these people must be the biggest masochists in the world to go through this. If
You
they
know
feel
what?
if they feel that they don't have the money, or they feel that they can't do this project, or like
I don't know what their motive is, but I'm
Right.
not. But this commission is not. We're not masochists.
I understand.
We're not going to endure this much longer.
I was just want to say I didn't know if this topic was going to come up today, so I had.
Well, you should know better, Pat.
Well, it wasn't on the agenda, so I didn't think it was going to
No,
come up.
I'm
But
just kidding.
I have written a one-page item that I did not send out until I got another look at it. But to me, as an auditor, I think this is a great project, but I think it's being financed by the wrong group. I really think we should start over from the financing side. There's four things, and I'll just briefly say what they are, but there are red flags relating to inconsistent
Can we
information.
save this?
Okay.
Can we just save this?
I'll send it.
Let's save this.
Okay, because, again, I really wasn't prepared to talk about this, but
me neither.
There's quite a few
Yeah,
concerns.
Well, just in terms of the timing, just to be clear, Mayor, we have city conference workshop, which we had. We had other meetings. I was interested in bringing this up at the conference. We didn't have time. So this is an absolutely appropriate time to, just as we did our city commission reports, to bring other concerns and questions we have. Am I wrong on that, Mayor?
You're not wrong on that.
Is it okay to bring up topics like
You
this?
could bring up any topic you want.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. And so this was very healthy dialogue. So now, if I'm understanding right, Raquel, this will be on the city conference meeting
September 16th.
agenda for September 16th.
Correct.
Okay, great. So everyone will have notice. I look forward to within 3 days, because I think that's completely appropriate, to hear confirmation of full funding for the project from the applicant and their team. And also, just one other thing is, in big deals like this, it's important, I think, that both parties, the city and the applicant, work together. And it's also my view that the applicant is very proactive in providing, knowing what big financing deals like this take, the documentation, the support, and so forth, that they are very proactive in sharing that and getting that to the city in a very proactive, professional manner. And I look forward to seeing that, because that's how big deals like this get done.
Okay.
I would
Is that fair, Raquel?
I would proffer that we say maybe 5 business days.
Great.
Thank
5
you.
business days.
Could I ask one last question too?
Yes.
So for the record, who is the company that's providing the financing? What is their legal name? So I can look into this company myself. I'd like to know who they are.
Well, to me, the last
I
iteration.
think
of
Susan's
it,
got it. She's
Oh, you
coming
have
up with
it?
some documents.
Okay.
So, Susan, do you have the actual legal name of the entity?
Excuse me. The corporate resolution authorizing the loan is from BGC Global Investments Limited.
GC Global.
BGC Global Investments Limited. If you go to
where are they domiciled?
this is out of, I believe, Gibraltar. Are they?
Gibraltar, right? That one's
Are they Gibraltar?
Gibraltar. Okay, so not
but
a U.S. based company.
If you
Okay.
look at memo 25-140, you'll see the whole kind of chain of events. But on the second to last page, you can see the 4 documents that Pat referred to, and they're also
So
attachments.
who's Gauntlet in all this? I keep hearing Gauntlet. So who's
So-
Gauntlet?
They're an asset manager, just like BGC is an asset manager. And one of the documents is just clearly, and it's not a bank statement, it's custodial account from BYN in Pershing. So they're holding the bonds for them. But all that document is saying is Gauntlet agrees to transfer $500 million of the bonds over to the control of BGC Global Investment.
Okay.
Again,
What's
that doesn't
the
mean that
legal
they
name
have
of
a deal.
Gauntlet? Who is Gauntlet now? What's their full name?
Gauntlet Holdings Asset Management Ltd.
Hang on a second. Hold on. Gauntlet Holdings Asset Management
Ltd. And this,
LTD?
like I said, these are attachments to that memorandum. You'll be able to see the actual statements. We have the corporate resolution authorizing the loan from BGC Global. We have the financial capability confirmation,
Okay.
which is the custody statement. And then the deed of assignment from Gauntlet saying that BGC is authorized to invest in the project.
Back to Gauntlet for 1 second. So BGC is a Gibraltar-based company. Where's Gauntlet Holdings Asset Management domiciled?
Ontario, Canada.
Ontario, Canada. Okay.
But their company
Is
is set
anybody
up in the
Canadian?
Bahamas.
Is anybody an American company here? Is anybody like Delaware Corporation normal? Like stuff that
No.
you typically see?
No.
Well,
okay. Everybody is domiciled in
All right,
in
so-
Delaware, Commissioner.
all right,
just so you know.
All right, so
like 99% of the
so
corporations.
let's wrap this up.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, that was the last question. Anything further, Madam City Manager?
I think my report was concluded
Okay.
a while back.
All right. Okay, this meeting's now
Well,
concluded.
wait.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'm called to do my civic duty on September 16th, so I have jury duty.
Do they allow
Hopefully, I'll be.
attorneys on? Do they allow attorneys on juries?
Well, hopefully, I'm released by the evening meeting, but Paul Bengal will be here for the conference meeting.
Okay.
And we'll take care of that. I do have we have a case before the Board of Adjustment that was appealed to the Circuit Court. It's H&M Housing Land Development. This is located at 2950 Southwest 17th Place in Fort Lauderdale. I believe that's Chula Vista. The Board of Adjustment denied their permit application. The court squashed that order. There is procedurally we could do second tier appeal to the district court on this, but that would be challenging the circuit court's order. I don't believe we have any grounds to really challenge that order, so I'm advising the commission that I'm not planning to file an appeal in that case, and that concludes my items.
Do you know what that's about? Okay.
It's a flag-shaped parcel where they purchased. Basically, it's a landlocked parcel.
I remember this.
And they purchased.
I met with the people. Yeah. Okay. Concluded. Good night, everybody.